Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Cats and Rats live stream. I'm your host Kirby Lupal, joined alongside my co-host Nick Levine and Cody Stevens. I gotta get it out, guys. We haven't been going here for the last couple of days, but I want to say thank you to everyone for our Tier Maker episodes. Everyone that contributed to those episodes, make sure to check them out on our channel here. But now, guys, we're gonna get into the Atlantic Division preview show. We used to do these over on the Twitter X Spaces side, and a gentleman that's joined us here tonight joined us over on the X Spaces side, Rod Pedersen from the Cats and Bolts podcast. How's it going, Rod? How's your summer been?
It's going great, guys. Happy New Year to y'all. Thanks for having me.
That's right. Happy New Year. Hockey season here ahead. We're going to really, now, Rod, adjust our minds to, who's on these teams now? Who's, what are the additions? What are the subtractions? Where are we placing these teams? We're going to get to that a little bit later. But, Rod, as you cover the Florida Panthers, but we got you here today for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Just kind of give us a summary of last year. I know we talked to you last summer, your expectations going into last year, and then now where we're at here, going into the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, you may or may not remember, I boldly predicted the Lightning to miss the playoffs last year. And for a while, it looked like they were going to. And then around U.S. Thanksgiving, they really caught fire, and Lightning media and fans were on my back for the rest of the year, especially when they shot past the Panthers and claimed second place and had a 100-point season, 102-point season, as a matter of fact. So they haven't been out of the first round since they won the Stanley Cup. So there's that. But I think that they're going to be good coming back. But they did not have a very active free agency nor summer. They traded away all their draft picks, as you know, so their first round picks anyway. So it wasn't a really exciting draft either. The earth shook last summer when they said goodbye to Steven Stamkos and signed Jake Gensel. And Gensel had a tremendous season, obviously. And let's remind each other about Tkachuk's hit on Gensel in the playoffs last year when he wasn't looking. I think he was shooting towards the empty net or whatever the hell it was. The rivalry between the Panthers and the Lightning, Kirby, you'll appreciate this because you've been following the Panthers for so long. When these guys met in the playoffs 4 years ago, there was no animosity. Fans were shaking hands in the stands. Good luck in the next round. There was fights in the stands at Amalie Arena after Game 5, and I saw it with my own eyes. So these two fan bases don't like each other, and maybe they'll meet in the playoffs again. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, guys, it was just since, coming into the league in 92 for the Lightning, 93 for the Panthers, I had to wait so long to see this rivalry kick off. And I'm still going to remember that first ever playoff game with Tampa and Florida at the end. That was crazy. And the physicality of that game, guys, and the intensity, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I was at that game. That was unbelievable until Braden Point broke our hearts with a minute to go. But again, just over the last 4 years, kind of crazy to hear 3 years since they've won a round. Talk about Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh Penguins, a lot of teams that haven't won since got out of a round. It's kind of weird to put the Lightning into that category now.
Nick, do you want to share the additions and subtractions there? As Rod was mentioning it there, we put this together for all of our preview show teams. I appreciate you doing this here, Nick.
Of course.
There is something to talk about with Rod here, guys, Cody, especially subtractions.
But as you can see here, thanks to our good buddy Nick, who surprisingly put this together. Not really great with technology usually, but hey, love to see the skills improving. But the additions include their biggest free agent this past year was Pontus Holmberg, formerly of the Toronto Maple Leafs, of that third line that kind of really was just there for him. Kind of more of a two-way guy, just something Tampa is looking for. I think he's on a 2-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Nick Abruzzese, which I believe is just a fourth-line guy, kind of depth. Simone Lundmark, have no idea who that is, but hey.
Have Rod tell us a little bit.
Well, maybe learn more. Jacob Peltier, formerly of the Philadelphia Flyers, who had a really good a couple years ago with Calgary.
But a real undersized guy, and it's going to be interesting how he works in this division, Cody.
And then Sam O'Reilly, who is formerly of a first-round pick of Edmonton, which they got in the trade for Isaac Howard, I believe he's the reigning Hobie Baker winner, who refused to sign with Tampa and is now in Edmonton. He is one of the subtractions, along with their longtime 6D Nick Perbix, Connor Sherry, bottom sixer, who I believe they bought out, or his contract right now. I don't remember. I want to say buyout, and then Luke Glendening, face-off fourth line guy. Not really better, not really worse for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I kind of had a hard time putting together this list because, like you said, Rob, there was little to nothing they did over the offseason. I think they're just kind of hoping one or two of these guys. I know there was a time Zazie had some potential in Toronto. There were fans that were pretty bullish on him. Same with Peltier. I mean, that a former first-round pick, I believe, with Calgary. So I think they're kind of hoping that similar to what we've seen with Zito in the past, these buy low guys carving out a role for them. And in the years past, I think middle six scoring, bottom six in particular, has been an issue for Tampa. I think they fill some of that here potentially, and obviously take a look at the blue line of the subtractions over the years. Some guys getting older. It's going to be interesting to see, especially Nick Perbix. That was a pretty important guy for them. Was running their power play for a good chunk of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting. We talked about this either last year's preview or the year before about some of the guys, the depth guys, and Mikey Eisemont's name came up. And I want you guys' take on this. Remember the trade deadline deal this past year for the Lightning where they dealt Eisemont to Seattle and they got Yanni Gourde back and Oliver Bjorkstrand? And just in the preview that I was reading for the Lightning today, somebody said that was one of the worst trades in Tampa Bay history. And I'm like, I wouldn't go that far, but it certainly didn't have an impact for the Lightning in the playoffs at all. Well, but it was just, you guys remember that move? Like, that's what's fun about doing preview shows like this. Just kind of remember what went down and how we got here, Yeah,
it's just that deal when I saw it, because they gave up 2 firsts for him.
Yes.
Which, and they bring back Yanni Gourde, so in my head I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to bring somebody back that knows the system, maybe get a little bit more juice in there because they lost him in the expansion draft. Bjorkstrand is a pretty good player. To me, he's just about as average as a middle 6 forward as you can get, most likely. Nothing really special, but they did lose him in the playoff series. He got hurt a week before the series and was kind of done for the year after that. And it's kind of funny because, once again, I think their biggest issue is D once again.
Yeah.
I
also think it was pretty interesting. You take a look at the moves they made. Worst trade is Tanner Jeannot. But those are moves that Julien Brisebois makes 1 to 2 years prior to that, and it works. We've seen it with Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow. Those moves just have not worked this time around. And obviously, talk about the salary cap and COVID, how it lined up. But I feel like they've been chasing the bottom 6 depth. Obviously, the loss of Ryan McDonough initially, now Mikhail Sergachev. They've always been a guy or two behind, and those failed trades, they add up to a certain point. Oliver Bjorkstrand, it's weird. I always thought he was a pretty good player, 25 goal scorer. I think you put him with talent. I think he could maybe, on his best year, get closer to 30. Yanni Gourde, I don't think is worth a first-round pick alone. You really think about it. Would you trade Yanni Gourde for a first-round pick straight up? I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't trade a first-round pick for Yanni Gourde. So I think
2.
I just look at it, and it's and I don't want to directly compare it. Panthers got Seth Jones and Brad Marchand for 2 first-round picks. Obviously, Spencer Knight in addition to that. But I don't think the Yanni Gourde they're expecting is the Yanni Gourde they're going to get. I don't think he's anything more than a bottom 6 forward at this point in his career. And, it's kind of hard to see anything, at least in my opinion, for this Lightning squad other than a good regular season team. They might be able to win a round. They can go on a run, but some guys are going to have to turn back the clock a bit and really step it up from what they've done in years past in the playoffs.
And I think Rod, they're trying to get younger, let's say up front at least. I don't know exactly what they're doing on the back end, which you can kind of educate us on and kind of know what they're doing in net. They're running back JoJo with Vasi again. But up front, they're trying to look for those young players there, Geeky being one of them. We've seen some of them in the playoffs there last year. So I don't know if that's what they're trying to do with their cap situation and how they're really, I think, going to be more of a top-heavy lineup up front.
Yeah, they're trying to, from what I can see, rebuild on the fly. Does that make sense? They're trying to, they got their core guys. We're not going to forget about Kucherov and Gensel and Hagel and Point. They're as good as anybody, right? Yeah, and Anthony Cirelli, yeah, it's like and Hedman on the back end. He's still got it. It's kind of the mold of what the Panthers are doing. They got their core guys, and then everybody around that is interchangeable. It's just the Panthers have more core guys. Fair, but it's just the Lightning don't want to blow it up, and why would they? They had 102 points last year. So, the last time Darren Dreger was on my show, it was, I think, at the trade deadline, and he said Tampa Bay's day is coming. You can't keep blowing out these first-round picks and have it not catch up to you at some point, right? You say, Kirby, they're trying to get younger, but they're not really bringing in any top-end young guys. I'm interested to see what they do in training camp this year with Ethan Gauthier, because he's now played in 3 straight prospects tournaments for the Lightning, but has yet to play with the big club. That's Denny Gauthier's kid. Okay. And I think he was in Drummondville or Chicoutimi. I get the French teams mixed up from the Q. But there isn't there's not a Mackie Samoskevich coming for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Duke, he's looked pretty good. I've noticed him in the rookie showcase.
But he's very undersized.
And I feel Sam O'Reilly is just kind of, he's a center, more of a two-way type of guy. I'm interested to see what they see for him.
He's probably the next Yanni Gore, to be honest with you.
That's what I was about to say. I think Isaac Howard was a legit top 6 forward if he played up to his potential. Sam O'Reilly kind of seems like a second, third line, two-way forward, and he's a center. So I don't really see the vision there. And I agree with you, Rod. And what Darren Dreger said, you can't keep dishing out first-round picks. And I know hindsight's 20/20, but how nice would it have been for one of those first-round picks to be in on the JJ Peterka sweepstakes in the offseason, right? I mean, it's stuff like that. Again, I understand they're going for it at the deadline. There's a lot of good young players in today's NHL getting moved, both on the back end and top 6 forwards. I think they could have been a little bit more patient with how they spent that capital.
We will get to the predictions later there in the chat where Rod thinks Tampa Bay will place. We'll save that for later. But Rod, are you worried at all, on a scale of 1 out of 10, 10 being the most worrisome, how much can Tampa run, Victor Hedman into the ground, Andre Vasilevsky? It's going to get you a certain place in the regular season. But if you look over the last 3 years, and you can look no further than Nikita Kucherov when it comes to this, maybe more to do with matchups, Rod, they haven't played their best hockey in the playoffs yet. They were one of the best teams coming into the playoffs last year. What we see on our screen here, 47-48 wins in the regular season, a lot of those down the stretch. That's why a lot of people were picking them to beat the Florida Panthers, who were depleted. People thought limping in coming into the playoffs. But Paul Maurice knew what they wanted to do there. How worried are you with, wearing these guys down the regular season and not playing their best hockey when they need to play?
I'm not concerned. I don't think the Lightning are concerned. That's what you do with your best players. Where the Lightning are headed is where Pittsburgh is, I think. They run Malkin and Crosby and Letang and Carlson into the ground. And now those guys don't make the playoffs anymore, but that's where Lightning are going. We haven't talked yet here is John Cooper. They do have the best coach in the National Hockey League, and with all due respect to Paul Maurice, I still think John Cooper's better. He's going to coach Canada at the Olympics. He coached Canada at the Four Nations face-off. You run with your guys. And these guys have not let the Lightning down. I can't explain what's happened the last 2 years in the playoffs. I'm not sure the Lightning could explain to you what happened in the playoffs. I don't know. But I do expect they'll be in the playoffs again with this bunch. They'll play Vazzy until the wheels literally fall off.
And the one thing on Cooper is this is the final year of his current deal going into this season. So it's something we'll see here, but I'd be surprised if they don't re-sign him to a new contract. But the thing is with Tampa and this, I said this last year and even the year before, last year mainly, but I don't see the vision in what Breezeball is trying to do, because you say he's trying to get younger, Kirby. If he was trying to get younger, he would have kept Mikhail Sergachev. That move still makes 0 sense.
But I'm with Rod, where they're trying to pivot on the fly,
Yeah, but you can't move a guy like Sergachev. He's basically a number 1 in this league.
Yep. But that's where they fall in problems with the back end. And Cody, you've talked about that for a year and a half, 2 years now, and it's kind of played out in that role, right? I'm talking more up front.
And
but
McDonough,
I don't know what they're searching for.
McDonough has been great for him. Do not get me wrong. But he's 35, 36? Hedman's not too far off. I think he's 35, 36 as well. And he's still a really good player in this league, but he's not Hedman, 4 years ago in the Middle East Cup runs. Like last year against the Panthers, he was blown by in that series. And that's where you kind of miss having Sergachev having those minutes, because it's Mikhail Sergachev out there against, maybe, I don't know, he probably get the Barkov matchup or whatever. Instead, it's like Hedman getting kind of blown. And it's just, it doesn't really never made sense to me. But going into this year, their biggest X factor right now is probably Connor Geekie going into this year.
Yeah, we can get back to the forwards there. Can we go down to the defense just quickly here, Nick? And I want to talk with Rod. I'm a Pervix guy. I kind of like him when I've seen him play. I don't see him as much as you, Rod. Is this a bit of a, an under the radar loss for Tampa Bay, or are they going to be able to fill that role and more?
No, I don't. I think that's a huge loss for them. And that's he signed a 2-year deal with Nashville, and he went for the money. You can't blame him. But I'm looking at this blue line right now. Hedman, J.J. Moser, Ryan McDonough, Eric Cernak, Emil Lilleberg, Darren Radish. It's not the 85 Oilers. I'll tell you that. Like, it's not blowing anybody's socks off. Losing Perbix, I think, is really big for them. He was in the top pair, was he not? At times he was anyways.
Yep.
At times he was. They would switch it around. It's like their deployment with D is kind of a bit confusing, because at points in the postseason, if I remember correctly, Hedman wasn't even on the first unit. It was Radish that was on the first unit. Like, that one kind of puzzled me a bit, but like,
so it's like with matchup based with Cooper, you're saying, Cody?
Yeah, but their biggest problem child on this defense score is 78 right there. The Panthers, like in the postseason, I could just speak for this. They eat his lunch. And like Radish is he just has a bomb at this point.
And Radish to me is the 6'7", Cody, and they're bringing in that youngster from Winnipeg there. But I don't know who else is kind of in waiting.
Mosier's more of hope at this point, that you're hoping he reaches his potential.
And he was hurt a lot last year, wasn't he, to start the year?
Yeah, he had like an injury, was out like I think 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
and
so I don't know if he really found his game.
And Rod, you can speak on this, but Eric Cernak has trying to get back to where he was 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. He plays a lot. The one thing that I have noticed with the Lightning here, you guys have mentioned McDonough a couple times, and he's getting older, but he plays balls out. If you watch any of the Lightning games, he's got the minutes. He's nasty, and with them bringing back Gord, it's one thing that I kind of like in them. I think it was 8 or 9 guys from the Stanley Cup teams are on this year's Lightning team coming back. And I like the fact that they've gone with the guys that they know instead of experimenting. But I'm with all of you. I don't know what JBB is doing. It does not look to be a clear plan. But at the day of the trade deadline, do you remember his quote? Basically said, screw the picks. I want players.
Yeah.
So they're not building through the draft, clearly. They don't feel the need.
I mean, they traded the whole, like you said, the Lightning, like a Lightning fan said that was the worst trade ever made. I guess they forgot about Tanner Jeannot, because they traded the whole class for him.
Yeah, he was great in Nashville though. He just wasn't the same guy when he got to Tampa, and I don't know why that is.
Sure, I wonder about him in Boston, but anyway.
Nick, sorry to interrupt there, Cody. Nick, you wanted to go up to the forwards there?
Yeah, just give me a minute. Computer's glitching out here a bit. But one of the things, I can't move it up. But anyway, well, maybe I can. Here we go. All right. One of the guys I really liked in the playoffs last year for them was Gage Gonzalez. I think they had something there with that Nick Paul, Gonzalez, Connor Geekie line. I think that honestly is the best third line they're going to have since they've won the Cup. And I think it could be kind of a return to, okay, now they're more of a 3-line team. You move Bjorkstrand up there, maybe to a first or second line, put him with talented players. We know he can put the puck in the back of the net.
And Nick just to jump in, that hurts you saying that about Nick Paul because you don't like him.
I hate Nick Paul. I cannot stand the guy, but he's a good player. And you take a look at, I mean, honestly, the bottom six is improved, I think. I mean, Yanni Gourde, a good fourth-line center. I like Mitchell Chaffee, Pontus Holmberg. I do think they solve some of that bottom six issues. But again, I think the crux of the issue is the depth wasn't the problem last year for the Lightning. They had one or two games where they were really good. I remember, I think it was game 4, or game 3 and 4. It was Mitchell Chaffee, Luke Glendening, Gage Gonçalves, Nick Paul. I mean, they were the ones providing the offense for the Lightning. The problem is their star players aren't showing up. And the problem here with Julian Brisebois, and I think they need another high-impact player. I don't think they need complementary players. They need a Mikhail Sergachev. They need a JJ Peterka. I think that would help. And part of
might have lost that with the Howard.
Might have lost that with Isaac Howard. I think the problem is they haven't. I think you're aggressive, sure, but you could have gotten better players than Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde. I mean, there were a lot of good players out there. I just think I understand the move of being aggressive, shipping off the 2 first-round picks. You need players, you need depth. Fine. I don't understand the vision because you traded on the back end what you need now. I can think of a number of players that they should be in the market for right now that they're not going to be able to because they don't have first-round picks. Rasmus Anderson out there. I think he'd be a very good fit in Tampa. And now there's – I mean, what are you going to move for him? You can't move anything. So I think they're kind of at the point where they had their opportunity to kind of retool a bit. They didn't properly, in my opinion, and it's going to result in – they're a good team. And they'll go as far as their stars take them. And they're lucky that some of their stars, Brendan Hagel, Braden Point, Jake Gensel, they haven't even hit 30 yet. And I don't think they're really too close to it. So they'll be good. Maybe they'll be able to go on a run. They got this. If stars show up, they'll go on a run. But I think
Gensel is 30, by the way.
Is he? Oh, damn.
He's about to turn 31, actually.
Oh, damn. Okay. So then I take that back. They'll take them. They'll go as far as their stars take them until, like Rod said earlier, the wheels literally fall off.
I want to jump in there. Something that you said for Rod. Was there guys, Rod, that you were looking at that this team could add it to? We can talk about it net because I'm big on that. I'm like, don't run your star goalie, your horse goalie into the ground. Like you could have improved on JoJo. Why are they continually running back with him? But was there guys that you were looking at, Rod, that they could have added up front or on the back end, behind Vasi, that there was options there that you saw talking to Lightning fans and media and stuff like that?
No, they like JoJo, and it's been the last 2-3 years. He's won a battle every year in training camp to be number 2. They've brought different guys in to challenge him, so they're happy with JoJo. I really think Tampa Bay's happy with their roster coming back this season. Does 73 players in camp sound right? Yeah, that sounds right. They're opening camp Thursday, like every team across the NHL. There's guys they could have had. Cam Atkinson still sitting out there as an unsigned free agent right now.
He was so good, but does he have anything left?
Yeah, well, probably not because Tampa didn't offer him a deal. So I think they're pretty satisfied. They're happy with the team coming back with 102 points from last year. I mean, what do you guys, you say that it would be nice to add one more top end player. Every team's going to say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. But they're like the move, like in Panthers terms, they're looking like their next move's got to be like for a Seth Jones type of guy.
Yes.
It's got to be because I remember like at the back half of the Ehlers sweepstakes, Tampa tried to get in on it. If I remember correctly, someone reported they tried to get it on it, but they couldn't move the salary.
And I feel Ehlers might be a better fit in Tampa than he is in Carolina, Cody, especially when playoffs roll around. I think Tampa can insulate that a little bit.
Yeah, but Tampa's playoff hopes is just, can 86 score again? He hasn't scored in 2 playoff years. And that's concerning as hell.
I think only Panther fans have.
I think it also is a testament. I think it could be unfair to rank him, and obviously you have to. But I mean, look who he's playing, right? I mean, we're talking about Florida Panthers. Like I mean, like, they're unbelievable. They're
But it was
essentially what the
Toronto
Lightning
3
have
years
done, right?
Toronto 3 years ago, Nick, and he didn't show up really well there either.
Well, yeah, I know. And again, going to a 4 straight Cup final is very difficult.
Yes.
I'm going to say that for our Panther fans there. But, you know, there's no shame in losing to the Florida Panthers, struggling against the Florida Panthers the way they play their defensive game.
I understand that.
So,
But Matthews found a way to score at least one. Panarin found a way to score at least one. Pasternak found a way to score at least one. Points found a way to score at least one. Points on the same line. Gensel killed us.
well,
Mitch
yeah,
Marner found one last year, Nick. I know you're talking about that.
Like Kucherov, like 0 goals in 10 games. Like that's
he needs to be better, no doubt about it. I mean,
The Panthers are the best at this, Rod. I know you know this with your co-host Serena. Like, they are the best with the guys like Kucherov and McDavid. It's like, okay, you're looking to pass or you want to be a facilitator, then we'll let you be that when you're in the zone. But before you get in the zone, we're going to swarm you and we're going to be physical on you. And other teams can't do that, like what the Panthers do. And I think that's where Kucherov has a problem, guys, when the playoffs roll around and it's a matchup against Florida. Florida's confident with it, with that matchup.
And my last thing with Tampa, and this may be kind of like a little bit of a hot take here, because I don't think they lost Stammer and Gensel replaced the production. They don't have the leader in that locker room much like Stammer was. Like, I'm gonna be real, because Hedman and Point strike me as like kind of more quiet guys in the room. And Kucherov's not a damn leader. I mean, you saw him last year when Cooper put him on the bench on the power play. He puts his gloves on the thing on the boards and he sits there with his arms crossed. Like
Rod was big on that. Rod, you were big on that when you came on our podcast. Like, you were questioning the leadership in the room, and you guys, I know on your podcast, you value Steven Stamkos very high level. Certainly, like, it's easy to tell, right? But what do you see with that, like, leadership moving forward? What has to change?
Well, something happened with Stamkos there, and I don't know what it is because nobody in Tampa Bay will say, and I'm not there. So let's just say, when time's up, time's up. You know, and I was banging on JBB for letting him go and the way that he was treated, because I hate that. Yet Stammer didn't do anything in Nashville. I think we can all sit back and go, maybe Breezeball was right in making that move. And Hedman as captain, I think you're right. Colby. He is quiet, but I think he's been a tremendous captain for them too. So I don't think they regret any of those moves that they made. I really don't. But it's just funny. Do you guys remember? I think it was game 4. Kirby, I'm not sure if you got the broadcast that Kenny Albert was doing the play-by-play of, but Nate Schmidt scored twice in the first period. I think it was game 4. And he was like, Nate Schmidt has more goals in this series than than Nikita Kucherov.
That was game 2.
Was it game 2? Okay.
He scored back half of game 1, and then he scored the game winner of game 2 because that game was 2-0.
Yeah, whatever it was. I'm like, oh my God.
And he just got another bomb, and then
because Nate Schmidt was surprising us with that too. So
like he was,
and he's gone, and now he's gone. It's amazing how fast these guys blew out of town after winning a Stanley Cup.
They're taking big paychecks on the way.
Hey, they're getting paychecks there. I mean, 3 by 3.5. I mean, that's a pretty good payday.
Lomberg, Stenlin, Schmidt, all those guys.
I'm playing the
Montour,
Florida Panthers.
Montour.
I put Montour at a higher level than those guys, though, Rod. But like, those guys all made their hay coming to Florida when relatively unknowns, and then they win 1 ring or 2 rings, and out the door.
Yeah. Some people don't think Ekblad could have got like over $60 million on the open market. I'm like, that would have been the lowest offer he got.
He could have guaranteed. I knew Anaheim wanted him and offered him more than Florida ended up signing him for.
Rod mentioned that. Yeah. Everyone go check Rod's tweet out there. I remember that Rod put that out there.
I mean, that made sense because Ekblad's best hockey was when Q was his coach. So that was definitely. I thought it was either Anaheim or Detroit for Ekblad for a little bit, because Detroit with the family thing. He lived right. I think he's from Windsor. I think it is Windsor, Ontario, and that's near Detroit. And then like the Q connection over there in Anaheim, but going to the end here, where do you guys? Where are we putting this team?
Tampa?
Yeah, because the Atlantic Division is going to be hard as hell to predict now.
Always is. But I've got Florida 1, Tampa 2, Toronto 3, and a toss-up between Ottawa and Montreal. I can't decide. One of those two. They both made the playoffs last year. One via wild card. They'll probably be 4-5. But I think Detroit, Boston, Buffalo miss.
So you got Tampa third, Rod.
I'm not picking them again to miss the playoffs until they actually do. I'm not going. I don't need to be mocked again by Lightning fans all year.
That was one of our hottest takes in the Cats and Rats community last year when you came on and said that. Me and Cody were like,
there was a world that it could happen.
Yeah,
There's a world
and
that
I was
happened
wrong.
this year.
And I was wrong.
But we were wrong about Boston being first.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, I picked them first.
Everyone.
No one had Washington. I don't care anyone. Show us content creators or media people who had Washington finishing first, or maybe even in the playoffs. Cody did have them in a wild card.
Yeah, but no one in the world. I don't think there was a hockey creator like TSN, Sportsnet, ESPN had Boston out of the playoffs going into last year. There was no way.
I had them first, so.
Because we thought, they nearly won the division without like, first line center for the whole time, and they kind of have when they got Liesland home. Let's see if he can rebound. They'll probably be first, and then when the wheels fall off, they fell the hell off and the tire came off, and the rim was on the other side.
Cody, Nick, what do you have for Tampa? Similar to Rod, different? Whoever wants to go next.
Their ceiling to me. There is a world that they're first, but they have to be like the highest scoring team in the league, which is very possible.
Yeah, last year, Cody, just on the screen there at the bottom, we've been flashing those all episode here. 294 goals. And look at 219 against. They did an excellent job all year.
I'm gonna go second, like Rod. I'm gonna go second.
Second, little head of Rod.
Because the Toronto thing, I'm not sure if they're gonna be that good in the regular season, especially to start. I wonder about like the Marner, because when you lose Marner, the regular season is going to hurt the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder about that. And Tampa could outscore anybody.
Right.
In the regular season, you can get away with that, especially when you have Andre Vasilevsky between the pipes.
And it's so hard for teams to adjust to Tampa Bay power play offense, game in, game out in the regular season.
I could definitely see him winning, and I could definitely see him in a wild card spot.
But you're going to go with second.
I'm going to go with second because, I'm thinking in my head, Vasi stays healthy. Because if Vasi gets hurt, they're screwed.
Nick, are you with either one of them? I am not.
So there's 3 ways this can go.
Maybe 4.
Maybe 4. They could
a fifth way we haven't even thought about yet. Let's just be real.
They could tank out of the playoffs or just slightly fall out. They could finish first because Florida and Tampa struggle. Florida and Toronto struggle. But what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to finish second. And the reason for that is mainly Toronto. And I think it's going to be a battle between Tampa and Florida for first in the division again. I think Toronto falls out there. I don't think they get immediate help in the top 6. They wait to the trade deadline. There's a possibility you could see like Ottawa or Montreal fighting for that 3rd spot, or heck, even in the top 3 for chunks of the year. Remember a couple years ago, Detroit was in the top 3, I think, up until January of that year, of that season. And Toronto, and I think Toronto or Tampa were in wild card. Boston was also there too. But I think they finished second. But it's going to be interesting to see how Ottawa and Montreal fight for a top 3 spot, because I do think that this is their opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to get to Montreal later. So Rod's with 3rd, and Cody and Nick, you guys have 2nd.
Yes.
Okay. They were kind of 2 years ago. I'm going to go wild card 1. And I think they are going to be floating around that territory all along. We're going to see later with the team coming up. I'm pretty high on here. And I think that's what kind of bumps them down there to that wild card 1. I don't think they're in any danger of missing this year with the top end talent they have. Even if there's 1 or 2 injuries or key injuries, I still think they're good enough to be able to float there. Now, Vasi gets hurt. I think anything's possible. We can set any starting goalie around the NHL. But I'm going to go wild card 1. And I'm going to say, a little bit of a hot take, I guess, from everyone else. I really don't think they're a threat to win the division this year. So I think they're going to be around that wild card 1 spot. And again, this is a team, Rod, you know this, John Cooper, they're fine with that. They don't need home ice. They've been there before, done that. So that plays into it a bit for me too, Rod.
Absolutely. And to clarify, I got Florida 1, Tampa 2.
Okay.
Leafs 3. Leafs 3. So these guys know that standings don't matter. It's just getting in. And I would love to see a Florida-Tampa playoff series again. Why not? And there's a very good chance it'll happen again. Hard to believe it didn't happen for 30 years, and now it can happen for a fifth time.
Well, I mean, Tampa was good for like at least spurts. We were just garbage all the time.
Yeah.
Just being honest here, man. Like Tampa at least had spurts. Like 04, they win the cup. They made random like Eastern Conference Finals one year. I think it was 2011.
Guy Boucher.
Yeah, the 1-3-1. I still think my favorite clip is Philly taunting them by just standing there with the puck when they're in the 1-3-1 or whatever. And then, yeah, we were just garbage for all the time.
That makes it all the much better now. So thank you, gentlemen. Cody, Nick, Kirby, it's been awesome, guys. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thanks, Rod. Before you go, what's happening this year on the Cats and Bolts podcast? What do you got coming up?
We're firing up Wednesday, October the 1st. We go live 3:30 Eastern every Wednesday. And we're going to do a lot more Tampa Bay coverage this year because there's a lot of Bolts fans over there that don't like the amount of Panthers we talk. So we're going to bring on a lot more of their alum, but of course the regular Panthers guys too, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Season 3 coming up October 1st.
There we go. I like hearing that. Yeah, more Tampa Bay content over there because they've had like Jovo, Cody, and Chikrin, a lot of guests, Warrell like we've had. So it'll be interesting who they grab on the Tampa Bay alumni side and in media.
But appreciate it, Rod. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Boys, it's been as we await our next guest.
I thought we were going to get to an ad break here.
I'm like waiting on that.
But before we continue any further, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Caneswear.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And a word from our other sponsor, Jeremy Beckham, with Next Home Treasure Coast. Hey, Panther fans in South Florida need real estate help? Check out Jeremy Beckham, the Next Home Treasure Coast. It's a boutique service with a personal touch. Jeremy and the team put humans over houses, working hard for you, whether you're buying or selling. Ready to move? Hit up BeckSellsFLA.com or call 772-475-5371 now. You'll be glad you did. But, boys, we got big jersey news in the Panther world. Mackie Samoskevich is switching his number from 25 to the vaunted 11.
Nick informed me of that. Our very own Nick Levine here.
Oh, thank you. Very own. Wow. But before I comment on that, the NHL Network posted something on Twitter. The Buffalo Sabres added a little bit of goalie depth, bringing in 8-year veteran Aleksander Georgiev.
That's your guy.
They have a video, and the question is, can the experienced goalie help get the Sabres back into the playoffs?
I don't know. You answer that, Nick.
No.
You're out on him this year?
Yeah. No, like, here's the thing. I liked him for fantasy because he gets a shit ton of wins with Colorado.
I get that. So I thought you liked him a little bit more than what you let on, but I get where you're coming from with that.
So the guy got 35 wins, 40 wins for me. He was a top 5 goalie. I'll take
That's
it.
why you get those shitbags Vegas guys, right?
It's like when you take Jared Goff in like round 12. In fantasy.
Goff's already been dropped in leagues. That's Cody's guy. Let's not get into football too early here yet. But Cody, what did you want to say something on the Mackie front as we got?
We're on the Dolphins
preview show in a couple weeks.
Or on the Dolphins football front, if you want, we can talk about that for a little bit.
Not much really to talk about, really.
I think Cody's going to have a Mason Marchman.
Big game on Thursday.
I'm probably going to put it up already. I'm not going to
lie. No, you don't have to do it yet. Come on.
I think I'm going to do it now and then just just take it down when the season's over. And
Kirby, you might win that bet by week 8.
I'm going to clear a lot of bets.
Yeah. Hey.
But
you
Cody,
guys got lucky though.
On the Mackie front, is there a history with him wearing that number?
He wore it at Michigan. It's his sister's number who was his biggest role model that he said. So that was the big thing behind that number. So I guess if there was anyone that had a Samoskevich jersey, I'd be shocked if there was, to be real. I mean, you probably got to get it switched out now.
Yeah, I think there would have been some fans buying it. Like you see that when guys are coming into the league, they want to represent the young players come in, the promising prospects. A lot of times with you guys, like you guys going to university, people want to like relate to the person that's around their age and all that type of stuff. I didn't buy into that as much. I was like, who do I like on this team, and who's going to be a factor on this team moving forward. But the Mackie thing is very exciting because of how this lineup with the Panthers is going to look. I think in about a few weeks here, everyone, we're going to do a Panthers preview show. We might invite Armando by on the Locked On Network, or maybe David DeWark with the hockey news there. So we'll do like a dedicated episode to the Panthers. It might be a podcast episode. Our next podcast episode too, Nick, we're going to be doing a giveaway to Los Storain autographed.
JSA certified, of course.
JSA certified. Yeah. Is there any question in the chat about Tampa as we're waiting for our next guest up there? We can start to move towards Montreal a little bit as well. Whatever you guys want to take.
You got Jamie here saying, should Vasilevsky get load management? They have JoJo as their backup, so there is no load management there.
I love Rod, but I didn't agree with him on JoJo, and I know you guys were probably not agreeing.
He didn't say he liked them. He just said Tampa liked them.
Yes, okay. Tampa is hot. But he said he didn't mind them. I have problems with JoJo. I'm glad he's not on my team no more.
He couldn't stop a damn thing.
You guys might laugh at me now or think this is a bad take, even Panther fans. I don't know. Probably not Panther fans.
He gave up
I'll take
15 goals.
Airsoft going into the year than JoJo.
He gave up 15 goals in 2 games for the Florida Panthers. 15 goals. This guy.
I know he's been better in Tampa, but there's just games where he just don't have it, or he don't have it for a couple games. And you can't rely, like if Vasi goes down for 2 weeks, you're going to tell me you're relying on JoJo?
Well, they did for a 2-month stretch, and they were above 500.
What if they're in a wild card 1 spot and things aren't going well, and then Vasi goes down with an injury? Then you're going to go to JoJo for 2 weeks and think you can maintain that wild card position? All the power to you. If Tampa does, I'll be here to say I was wrong, but I wouldn't be confident.
Look, I mean, but I just wonder with Brisebois, with some GMs, I can kind of see a vision. With him, I don't know what the hell the vision is. Because you can't go younger and then trade a really good young guy to bring back an old guy. And Sergachev is exactly what they need. I don't know why they just didn't try and attack the first round pick to freaking Kernath or something.
I don't know. I don't understand it, but not our problem. I don't like the Lightning so good. I'm glad they got set. Am I
too low on them? Am I too low on them, or am I
I can see them dropping out of top 3. I think it's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, I don't think
we get into them.
I don't think you're too low on them. I just think you're too eager to push teams out.
I've never been eager to push Tampa out.
You are this year. You're finding ways.
I'm going to be honest with you.
But I'm listening to you, Cody, because you don't like their defense for the last few years.
Because of the playoffs.
I think if Montreal plays the way you expect, I think they can end up top 3. I'd like to see Toronto-Montreal playoff series.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second half of the back-to-back is here. From Haley, representing the Montreal Canadiens, we have Mr. Coach Frenchy. Mr. Frenchy, how are we doing today?
Hey, everybody. Thanks. Appreciate a lot to invite me tonight. But great here. Just talking about hockey. That's that's the best thing to do. And yes. I'm glad to be a part of the first time inside of that building.
Coach, two things, Coach. I want you, sorry to interrupt there, Cody. I want you to tell us a little bit about your South Florida coaching experience. And number 2, I was on your live stream tonight before we went live here. You said to your community, guys, I'm coming prepared with notes. So you got your notepad there, hey?
Yes, I have my notepad because you guys are asking me a lot of things about hockey, Montreal Canadiens. So I have to be ready. You guys, hockey. So I'm excited to talk about the Montreal Canadiens, the Atlantic Division tonight. But my live, you can see I'm not young like all of you, but I've been in hockey for over 45 years. I've been coaching all the different levels from At home, all the way to the East Coast Hockey League, video coach, everything. And then I've been with the Panthers, Florida Panthers, for about 6-7 years inside of that organization on the youth program, a AAA program, and all the fun things, the Alliance, and all this fun thing in the South Florida. And I've been with them, Pete Warwell and Peter Warwell and Hawkinen and everybody else, Vacoon, and yeah, it was a great time to be in Florida. Now I'm not retired, but I'm in tail end at this moment. So I moved a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. I moved in tail end, and I'm in the jungle in tail end right now.
Yeah, with the monkeys and the elephants and the giraffes. When you come on the stream, it's
we
crazy.
have elephant, monkey. Where is a little bit different than what I was in the and before I was in the Bangkok and Pattaya, where it was all about the bar and other kind of animal, but now I'm really the monkey animal now.
But as we move on to the Montreal Canadiens here, once again, Nick has given us this little chart here with the notable additions and subtractions. The biggest addition, I believe, in the Atlantic Division this past offseason, Noah Dobson being acquired from Montreal in exchange for I think it was 2 firsts, or is it 1 first? I don't even remember now. I think it was 2.
Coach?
Yep, for the Montreal Canadiens, of course, they had a couple of players there. Noah Thompson was at the trade deadline, at the NHL draft when they got they trade the pick number 16, 17 for. Okay, it was funny because that night, like the trade was happened before the NHL draft, and they would put again the 2 Montreal Canadiens selection, but it is what it is. They get a right defenseman for New York Islanders. I think there's a hole they want to fill up before this upcoming season. They pay the cost, but that's what you do when you rebuild a team. You accumulate asset, and they have many first round pick, 2 of them, and they pay the price to get a solid 25 years old. He got a new contract, a new deal of 8 years at 9.25 or 50. And this is going to be a plus for the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season. And then they trade for, with the St. Louis Blues, they trade Logan Mailloux, 31st overall pick under Marc Bergevin, by the way, and to the St. Louis Blues for the 21 years old Zachary Bolduc. Bolduc scored 19 goals last season, 7 of them on the power play. We know he is really good on the one-timer or on the quick release shot. Is a guy that players Montreal looking for. We know Ken Hughes require 2 kind of bracket ages for his rebuilding team. The 18 years old to 23.
Coach, I think Bolduc, you can use him in the bumper too, which is going to be big.
Definitely. He's going to be a really good bumper. That's where he make all this goal with the St. Louis Blues. Have a great end of the season. I think under Jim Montgomery, he figured out what he need to do to stay in the NHL. And we see he's going to carry on this with the Montreal Canadiens. I think he's going to start on the 3rd line if we want to make some lines. But it's a national great for the Montreal Canadiens. Only 21 years old. That's a big fact right there. And I think that's going to helping the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season. 2 great additions. Plus, of course, Evan Demidov. They don't have last season, only 7 games. But I think Demidov is going to bring an additional, more power offensive side of the game for the Montreal.
Yeah. I saw Cody and Nick. I was by Coach's show last week. If you guys didn't catch that, in our community, and some of the fans are like, Kirby, does Demidov give you any Pavel Bure vibes? And I say, we'll see. But you're already seeing some of the highlight reels.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'll say this on the overall additions and subtractions. Rarely do you see losing guys like Heineman, Primo, Mailloux, like good players, right? And yet you're still not sacrificing youth. And I think that's very impressive. Zach Bolduc, I think that was an excellent move. They have a vast array of defensemen, young defensemen back there that I don't think they really needed. Mailloux was picked in the, I think, 30th overall a couple years back. Good player, but I think Zach Bolduc gives them what they really need. I was watching the first round against the Winnipeg Jets, and I noticed him every time he was out on the ice. I think he brings a little bit of bite, and obviously in an Atlantic Division, playing the Florida Panthers, Montreal 4-0 against them last year. I do think he brings a little bit of that intensity, that bite that you need, especially in the playoffs. I think I give Montreal credit. They didn't let Washington push them around too much last year, but I do think they needed a bit more of that. I think Bolduc can really help with that. I think
he can help in the top 6, Nick, or the not.
I think it's a very underrated pickup. I really like Bolduc. I almost thought it was Sam Bolduc. He's on the Islanders, but I think
I was like, I didn't even know Sam Bolduc. I'm a big Zach Bolduc. Like, who's Sam Bolduc?
But I think again, Noah Dobson, Zachary Bolduc. Who the hell is Del Gaizo? That's a joke we have. I think this team, and again, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but they're primed to take a jump. I mean, I really like Samuel Montembeault. I made a prediction that he should be the Team Canada starter. I think one of the more underrated goalies in the league. One of the areas of concern, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about potentially maybe Mason McTavish. I know earlier in the summer, Nazem Kadri was an option there. Obviously, second-line center needs to be addressed. And then penalty kill. I mean, losing veteran guys like Dvorak, Yoel Armia, obviously, it could hurt. But I think it gives an opportunity for guys like Josh Anderson, Brandon Gallagher, Zach Bolduc,
Nick Suzuki to play that penalty.
Nick Suzuki to take on a larger role. I think, again, it's a very good team. They're going to need to add, but they have the resources to add. But I really like what they're doing. I think it's been done right. And it's good to see them finally splurge a little bit here in the offseason. Getting Noah Dobson, I think it was really rewarding. Coach, do you think they're going to put him with Caden Gooley? Because I know Struble also got some top 4 looks there last year. Is it going to be Mike Matheson in the top 4? How are they going to arrange that?
And we'll go to the lineup after, Nick. Go ahead, Coach.
But I think what you just said, you nail it very well about the Montreal Canadiens. I think Jovelano, and so we have to add Sammy Blais on your list. He's not there right now. I know he did not play in the NHL last year, but he played with the Abbotsford. He was maybe the best player in the American Hockey League during the Calder Cup last year. That will help him maybe to become the role of Michael Pesada. You talk about the departure they lost. Look, they're going to miss maybe, for me, more David Savard to anybody else. We all excited about David Dvorak for the last 35 game he played with the Montreal, but what he was for the first 3 years with the Montreal Canadiens, honestly, was not very good. So I think at the end of the day, I think the Montreal Canadiens have the tools or the player to pick it up where they have some hole. It's not perfect. It's not great yet. They are not where they want to be. They're still missing for them maybe a second center for the upcoming season. We'll see what Kirby Dak is going to be. He recovery from his injury. The right defenseman side with Dobson and, of course, Carey will be good. I don't think David Rebecca, what we saw during the weekend, is ready. But they have open spot, but they are not open spot. It's funny you said that because the 12, I think Joe Veleno and Sammy Blais is going to get there. On the cliff, on the pipeline, I don't know if Oliver Kapanen can make it. That's the only one for what we saw during the weekend, but you never know. But at least the top 6, it looked better like it was before. And a guy like Bolduc, Nick, can pick it up to get on the second line. And you never know, like Alex Newhook. So something happened. They are more depth like they never have. This is the best lineup in the last 4 years, and they run the Stanley Cup. And again, the Tampa Bay Lightning saying that this is the best lineup Martin Saint-Louis has. He has some option, power play. The PK will be a little bit more difficult because the departure of Armia Dvorak Savard. 3 great players was on the power play, on the PK with Jake Evans. But that said, I think Montreal Canadiens have a better roster to perform in the upcoming season. And we're going to see what they look like. But as a Montreal Canadiens fan, like I am, but many for others, I think this is going to be very exciting for the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season.
Cody, you can jump in here, but I've always been a critic of Montreal, Coach. This is the highest I've ever been on Montreal. But if you look at this screen right now, 40 wins last year, Cody. If you're a Habs fan, you have to be elated and excited. Like, you're looking at the prospects moving forward. Like what Nick, you mentioned, they didn't give away their future and they're adding core element pieces to it. Cody?
I mean, 100%. I mean, the future is bright in Montreal. But like I said, but with this roster right here and I'm the probably opposite about the other three.
Yeah, we can pull up the roster here in a bit.
I really feel like they're gonna learn like the lesson that Ottawa kind of learned 2 years ago. I don't like the fact they kind of just got rid of every two-way guy they had, because like I know Suzuki's probably he could be a Selke finalist one year, even win it one year. But it's just the other guys. Like Heineman was big on the fourth line of defensive roles. Dvorak was a really good defensive center for him. I think Armia, damn good penalty killer for him, especially at the blue line. It's just for me, and once again, like Montembeault had a great year. Can he replicate that now? Because now that year he had, it has to be the standard for Montreal going forward if they want to continue to go up and up and up.
Coach? Oh, yeah, go ahead, Cody.
It's just, for me, it's just the loss of the two-way guys, and you're going to need probably more step up from like Caulfield and Slavkovsky on the defensive side of the puck here a bit.
Coach, Cody is very worried on the Montembeault side and the PK side. How can you alleviate those worries or concerns from, or are you going to tell Cody, hey, that's going to be concerns this year going into the season?
Yeah, first of all, Kobe, you bring a lot of great things right there, because you talk about one area of the game where it's very important to perform. But I think one area where Montreal need to become better, and I think you nail it, the 200 feet game, right? The 5-on-5 Montreal is low in the NHL. They have to increasing that number. Can Patrick Laine score 15 goals like he did in power play last season? I don't know. But talking about Montembeault, guys, 62 start last year. This is a guy that's been like 38, 40, 41 the last 3 years prior to that. He played his best hockey. The good news, every year is getting better and better and better. That said, on the PK, if you look about the edge NHL stat, his high danger save is above an NHL average goalies. His problem is a long shot. The long range and the middle range is lower, save percentage is dropped. This is two areas you need to improve. So on the PK, you have the slap shot on the quarterback, or you have the rebound in front of him where he's pretty good. If you can improve those two areas, I think that will help the people, that will help the Montreal Canadiens. But Montreal at three positions, they have to be careful. Yeah. For me, it's Nick Suzuki. If they lose him, this is over. Samuel Montembeault, if they lose him, it'll be harder. And then their defensive core, like a guy like Caden Coley, they lose him. They don't have another like Caden Coley players. That said, because he played a solid game, like you just mentioned, could be where the Montreal lose a lot of great 200 feet players like Dvorak and Armia and Savard. Coley is a prototype of defenseman, can play physical, can pick up the guy in front of the net. But Montreal are not have those kind of defensemen other him. Yeah, Jacky was trouble, and they are the third pairing. The skilled talents like Madison, Hudson, and Dobson. Yes, Carrier is not bad, but Carrier is only 5'11". That's the reality behind that. So, yes, they have some concern there, but I think Montreal are under good shape right now to repeat, to go to playoff.
One of my questions was, and obviously just an open question, they have the opportunity to add. I think one of the things, I didn't put him on here, Carey Price unloading that contract is big because you're able to now accrue cap space. I think they have around $4.6 million now, which is pretty substantial amount of money for a playoff team going into a year. I think we talked about it. Their assets aren't depleted. They have opportunities, and we usually see this earlier on in the year. Teams moving veteran players. Last year was a guy like Ole Yamada. Year before Kirby, we saw plenty of deals happen early on. I believe Nikita Zadorov was the move, Calgary moving him to Vancouver. So I think that's one of the things I think they're going to have to look at is this whole idea of like, they're shopping for players, they're shopping for a second line center. I don't think you just wait to the trade deadline. I think you continue to explore that route, and wait and not wait. I think if you need to make a move in the first month, because you could definitely see, like, if Kirby Doc's not playing up to what you need him to, or there's a health problem there, I think that needs to be.
The health problem is the big one.
I think there shouldn't be any hesitation. I think Montreal, if you want my honest opinion, should not hesitate to make a move early on in the year, because they have the room, they have the assets, and I think it would be beneficial for a young club to have somebody come in a little bit earlier and get acclimated with the team, as opposed to 20, 25 games before the playoffs down the stretch, because you never know how the season's going to go to that point.
Yeah, that's like the biggest single Montreal's like. The momentum from last year was huge. I mean, let's be real. That wild card race last year was woof. I mean, no one wanted to make the playoffs out of those teams left. I mean, Montreal was kind of struggled down the stretch with the pressure of the playoffs looming. Columbus was in that whole argument.
The Islanders that you counted out, Cody, and then they came back to life. And then
because Montreal and Columbus let them come back in.
I was listening to one of our Spaces Classic episodes, and you were like, the Islanders are done. And I'm like, Cody, nope, they're back in it. They're in the wild card. And you're like, what? They're in the wild card spot? I'm like, yep.
Yeah. But
so we take a look at the Montreal lineup here. Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield.
I want to jump in. The best line in hockey for 25, 30 games at the end of last year. That was Kirby W. Well, not even a W, just a proclamation that it was made.
Then we have Kirby Doc. That's still an up in the air question mark. Ivan Demidov and Zach Bolduc. Third line, Alex Newhook, Patrick Laine, and Oliver Kapanen. Then on the fourth line, Jake Evans, Josh Anderson, Brendan Gallagher. I think they're going to need to rely on that line a little bit, especially early on.
And I want Coach to jump in a minute here, Nick. That's wrong.
And as Coach said earlier, remember they brought in Sammy Blais that could probably take in for that spot with Oliver Kapanen's at.
And Bolduc can come up or down.
Yeah, but
Coach, jump in.
My point, first of all, I want to thank all the people follow me here. I have a couple of people on my podcast early. They are here in the chat. So I just want to tell that thanks everybody to be a part of the show, like Triple W and N26 and then Pete Martin. But I think this is, yes, Daily Face-Off does all the kind of the lineup combo right now, but I think you're going to see Laine on the second line at the beginning of the season. I think that we go that way. Buds are going to drop on that line. And then you're going to see that line, the fourth line, you can see can become the third line for the Montreal Canadiens. Their depth is left and right. Kapanen is on that list. That's pretty good too. And I think Montreal is going to add, to answer to your question, Nick, about when Montreal is going to move. You're going to see, guys, and you're going to realize this, the first 6 weeks of the season, that brings us maybe at the Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving gave us an idea who's going to make the playoff, who's not going to have a not going to make the playoff, or a very bad season for the rest of the season for the different team. The Kevin McKenna race are going to change the couple of team players. That open up maybe the market at the Thanksgiving. You're going to see a little bit more trade between different team to push their team to go to the playoff, or to other team to go down to get Kevin McKenna, because this is the next look like the Connor McDavid. And also take a note, the 2026 top 5 is same and maybe better or the same level like the one with Will Smith, Adam Fantilli, Leo Carlson, and Connor Bedard. So this is going to be, like you said, Nick, the first 6 weeks, we're going to see more trade we never see before. It was a very quiet August, and Montreal, maybe, I think they wait for the right opportunity. I think they wait to get that players. Like, remember about Kadri, McCann, and Crosby and everything. I think they're looking for a specific players, a young age, fit on the bracket, some size, and, of course, a player they're going to add a long term, not at the I'll be shocked they go on the transition, Nick, player like a 1 year or 2 year deal to go there. I don't see Montreal act that way. I'll be shocked. But, I'm not an expert to have the right things, but I think overall Montreal on the right track. That's the only thing I can tell you right now, Nick.
And
Cody,
I
I
think
just want to jump in there.
if
Nick.
I could just say one thing.
Yeah, just quick, Nick, for me. The two things I want to say about Montreal, I think that favors them with this Olympic on the horizon is guys like the Nick Suzuki's, the Caulfields, the Patrick Laine's, even though he probably does have a spot on Team Finland already. That's just a motivating factor for a lot of these guys. The Lane Hudson thing that has played out in the headlines up here north of the border all summer with his dad and everything like that. I think that's a positive, Nick, going forward. And then the division they know they're in, they know they have to get off to a great start.
Yeah, that's one of the things. They have to get off to a good start. And I think you're going to see a lot of trades, like you said, Coach. I mean, you have a lot of teams. One of the most interesting things about this offseason is, unlike this past cap era that we just came out of, you had a lot of teams right up into the cap. Like, you could not do anything. Now you have a number of good playoff teams with good cap space, and they're not handing out bad or silly contracts. They're not just spending money. They're sitting on that, and they're going to wait for the right move. And I think Montreal has been smart with that. I think a lot of times you see desperate moves, particularly at this part of the offseason, for teams that want to, shoot for the playoffs. Montreal obviously made the playoffs last year, but they're still right there. A lot of desperate moves have been made in the past, in August and, throughout the summer to try to kind of boost your team. I think they've been really smart and patient. I think the last 2-3 years, for any team that wants to rebuild, they need to look at this model, because they have been very good at how they've approached it, how they've drafted, how they've developed. And then I think this Dobson move, and I'm not the Dobson fit was questionable for me, obviously, with Lane Hudson. Why would you really need that? But it's, again, very patient, seems to be very precise. They're doing an unbelievable job there. And I'm very interested to see, honestly. One of the things I'm actually most interested in talking about now is the blue line. There's been a lot of talk about Mike Matheson potentially being a trade chip.
I want to ask Coach about that, whether they extend them, they trade them, whatever, Nick?
Yeah, what do you think, Coach?
Well, me, as a Montreal Canadiens, I look at all of you like, all right, Florida Panthers, the top best team in NHL, and then you have the Tampa Bay Lightning. They did it. I'm a little bit, but I have a faith for them. I think you nailed it. Montreal go in the right direction. I think we have to give credit for Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon. Since they've been there, they put the team on the track. They build a culture. Martin St. Louis is get better as a head coach in Montreal with an NHL, and I think overall, this is a team like you see Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, where they are 8, 9, 10 years and rebuilding. Maybe Buffalo at 15 now, but my point behind that, Montreal are a little bit more faster to get a little bit quicker, better where they're at, and I think I'm a little bit more realistic. I know all the Montreal Canadiens fans, like some are with me, are looking more like, they're going to make the playoff, they're going to be this, demi-dub, everything. But I think for me, it's not only to make the playoff. I think it's about development and to consider, like you said, Jeff Gordon Monday, is to keep moving forward and to improve the team, to get closer, like your team. Every year, your team right now are going to be in the playoff. It's how the pen going to look like and the playoff run, where they're going to consider a good year or a bad year. Montreal are not there yet. But if they can go to the playoff this season, after that, I think Montreal is going to be one of the top 15 team automatically in the playoff, in my opinion, no doubt in my mind. But the hype, the excitement are really the first time I never see that for all the Montreal Canadiens fans right now. By the way, guys, Toronto Blue Jays 6, Tampa Bay Rays 4 at the beginning of the ninth inning.
Coach, our moderator Ryan, big Toronto Blue Jays fan, so he'll like that update there. Nick, Cody, what do you guys have to say about the defense there? And I think Coach, I've heard Coach all summer, guys. I think he's very measured and very conservative with the Montreal Canadiens prospects of this season ahead. Even I think I'd be pretty high on it. And Nick, I think there's a lot here on the blue line. I know it's young, Cody. I know it's young, but you add Dobson and you put Matheson in a spot now, Nick, where he should be properly slotted, not playing 1D like he was 2 years ago.
I don't think you need it up, Nick. We're good there. But
yeah, no, I'm just trying to take it down and glitch
with
in
the
this
blue
computer.
with the blue line, it's funny. It's like now they have a Dobson. I gotta use like another team's example for this. Gooley's a good defenseman, but the health concerns have kind of like weighed him down, like the last couple of years.
I think he's one of the best defensive defensemen coming up. Cody, everyone talks about the Gustav Forsling and Jacob Slavin. I think he's in that class that's coming.
Not yet.
He's in that class. He's coming, and if he's
gotta stay healthy to be in that class.
Yeah, but if he's healthy, I'm saying if he's healthy, you're gonna see it.
Okay, but calm down, buddy.
That works, Cody, with Dobson and with you're worried about this Dobson and Hudson. Don't worry about that. If Gooley's healthy in there, that supplements all of
That's
it.
a big if right
You
now.
need one defensive defenseman in the NHL, really. You need one.
You don't.
Yeah, you do. We don't have one guy in Gustav Forsling. We don't have a lot of those
three
guys.
kind of Nico Mikkola right there.
Kulikov's defensive.
Nico Mikkola.
I said one guy up top, one guy lower down. Gooley's there. That controls everything. You got Reinbacher coming. What the coach says maybe not this year, next year. But that's another guy.
But here's the thing with Gooley. 44 games, 22-23. Goes up to 70, 23-24, and then back down to 55. Like you got to find a way to stay on the ice here. And
that's the only thing, and then you're gonna see. Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big thing.
It is.
And with they just need like another defensive defenseman to me, just like one more. Because if Carrier goes down, you're kind of a little bit screwed there.
Well, Coach mentioned with David Savard retiring, that hurts. But then you have that option. Again, I think you have the option of Laine and Matheson. If you move one of those two out, Coach, I'm a big proponent of that.
But
you can add 2-3 pieces. If you move Laine out, you have 2-3 pieces.
But here's the thing.
If you decide to move on from Matheson, you have room to add.
People aren't exactly lining up for Patrick Laine here. Because if they were, I think he would have been moved already. Because they could have done a lot with that 8.7, especially this offseason. Because
I just personally think like Demidov is going to be a player, and I know Vince is with us in our community, Coach. But like you might not need Laine with Demidov. You kind of move Laine out, and then you add the pieces around the rest of the team, which they're doing with the Bolducs, Coach. And you're adding that big minute muncher and eater and Noah Dobson. Noah Dobson is a game changer. Don't be mistaken. I know. Probably your fans, Coach, think that of Laine, but that's what Dobson is. He can win you 2-1 hockey games with two plays that he can make. I think guys, Laine struggles a little bit more with that, especially with the division that he's in. But you had Dobson back there, and again, Gooley. I like this blue line. Reinbacher. They moved a guy out, Nick. Mayu out to get Bolduc. To really.
Yeah, I mean they have an array of defensemen there. I mean they don't. And I don't know if Jaden Strubal's going to be in the top 4. I don't think that's right. I don't know, but
I got one question for Coach because this is concerning the D. I'm reading the comments here. What are your thoughts on Arbor Jackeye coming into this year? Because I'm seeing right here, Strubal's the 7th, Jackeye's the 6th, and I know Jackeye's kind of struggled staying in the lineup quite a bit because of I think he kind of plays erratic. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of a wild card over here. I mean. Was it him that was fighting Josh Anderson in the damn bench in game 3? It was, or
yeah. First of all, it's fun to hear people are not big fans of the Montreal Canadiens from the outside. This is really interesting to hear how you see the Montreal Canadiens. So it's great to be here because how you see your perception is different for the Montreal Canadiens if you follow like me. To follow you Panthers, I maybe see different things like you don't see because you really into the Panthers. Same thing with the Tampa Bay Lightning. That said, to answer your question, guys, for Kaden Cooley, take a note about him. This is like I said, tripler pillar. Suzuki, Montembeault, Cooley. Now Cooley have to be on the healthy side. He had to play 65 games, 75 games per year. That would be helping the Montreal Canadiens. One player we said could be you're missing on that top 4 is one David Reinbacher is going to be ready. I don't say he will be ready at the beginning. He's going to be maybe take one more year, maybe. That will keep the top 4 players, defensemen, and that would be make the team Montreal better. About Jackeye. Jackeye played 70 games last season. He have like any rookies, or any prospect, they're up and down, everything. He got benched, or people said that, but he's an unicorn. Maybe he's a guy can play only 12, 13, 14 minutes, 15 minutes. He has to improve 3 areas of his game. His decision making, talking about cap control, his battle in the corner. It's not to use your 6'4", 235 pounds. It's how you can use your stick and how you angle with your skate face to face to get a better, to improve. And then, of course, is first pass. I know it's not a big deal, but if you hit tape to tape constantly at 80% of your pass, that will and move the play, go forward. That's area you need to improve.
Oh, it's huge.
They
It's
are
huge.
not better, Strobel and Jacky. They are only 2 different players. And Montreal Canadiens, without Rebacker, they're missing a right defenseman. Who's going to be the best defenseman to play on the right side to pick up that spot and to use Strobel and Jacky? That would be a musical chair between Jacky and Strobel for the upcoming season. But no doubt, you need a guy like Jacky and your team constantly, because the guy is a unicorn. It's not about only fighting now, because the fight in NHL is not there, but a presence of the guy, like the size of him, help the Montreal Canadiens. He just need to improve more his quality of the play with more consistency, we said to you. Sometimes you watch him, said, wow, 6, 17, 18 minutes, it's have a great game tonight. But then he disappeared for 2 games. He play again 10 minutes, 12 minutes. And discipline. Take the right penalty at the right time. Make a right move. Don't switch the momentum. Last year, one time he fight with Ryan Reeves. Was not the right time. Montreal was late 2-0. Change the momentum of the game. But this is a mistake by prospect. You need to learn. Be ready for that one. And Colby, been with Edmund and Sergachev, McDonald, everything. It takes time. Cernak. It take how long Cernak to become who he is right now? It take a couple of years. I know said Jacky is like Cernak, but we have to be a little bit more patient for the defenseman, and that's the reason I believe Jacky could be a really good third pairing, like Luke Shine, Mold, or Kudas, everything like that. He can jump in on the second pairing sometime, but again, like anybody else, it's not a project finished yet. We have to wait how he's going to be ready for the upcoming season. But Montreal Canadiens, guys, paying out. The defense is better. How it's going to be better, we don't know yet. But they are not, again, finished. They're missing a couple of pieces of the puzzle. Like they're missing a puzzle on the, I would say to you, a bit more power forward or more and intensity on the bottom 6. And then on the second center, that's where the big hole is right now for the Montreal.
Yeah, Nick, something that coach mentioned there, and I totally agree with him. You talk about all the time with the Panthers, and we're like, the class of the league. Minute allotment with your defense. And I think Montreal's coming around to that with the Jacky.
Well,
playing 12, 15 minutes.
I think, if you want my honest opinion, I think Montreal can have a very similar setup to Florida. We don't have a clear-cut number 1 in terms of minute. We have a number of guys that can play. I'd like to say we have 3 top pair guys instead of a number 1.
I think they do more than us with Hudson.
I think potentially more than us. Gustav Forsling, Aaron Ekblad, and Seth Jones can all play 24, 25 minutes. You're maybe not going to get 28, 29, 30 minutes, although they can if they need to. But it's better that way. I think today's NHL, if you have 3 guys at 23, 24, 25, as opposed to 1 guy at 28, the next guy at 22, 23, and then you have a guy at 17. It doesn't work as well. I think you run out of gas that way. So I think for the top 3 guys, that's what they're going to do for minute allotment. One of the things that I think it's going to be situational with Jacky. I talked about the penalty kill a little bit earlier. I think he needs to carve out a role there. I think if he's going to stay in the lineup consistently, that's where I think he'll be at his best. You don't need to move well. You just need to be big on the penalty kill, right? I meant penalty kill. I think I said power play earlier.
Yeah, like Coach was saying, stick in the lane.
It's stick in the lane. And I really like the comparison of Luke Shen. So I think that could definitely be a goal for him. Obviously, it's going to take a long time, especially for young physical defensemen who aren't, they don't have as much prestige. They weren't drafted high. They're not coming up as a puck moving top 4 prospect type of guy. He's a guy who's had to work his ass off to get where he's at. He's a physical guy. He's a big guy. He's a young defenseman. I mean, the only thing more apparent than a young defenseman making a mistake is a young offensive tackle. Like, it's the same exact thing. So it's baked in. He's gonna make mistakes, but I do think there is a role for him to carve out. And I think it's good to have that competition for right now. There with guys like Struble, and they're going to be experimenting. I mean, there are guys. I think they have their lineup set for the most part, but there are going to be guys there, like on the penalty killer on second unit power play, that maybe they don't know what that looks like yet. And I think early in the season, you're going to see a number of guys just rotate in and out. Does Brendan Gallagher get back on the penalty kill? When he was in his heyday, I believe he was penalty killing him for some of the penalty kills there. Jake Evans, obviously, probably the only mainstay there, but Nick Suzuki as well. But I think on the back end, we talked about David Savard, Arbor Xhekaj. I think along with Caden Gooley, that's the most obvious option. So we'll see the competitions for playing time there. But it's really all going to depend on numerous things. Obviously, other teams in the division, where we see them ending up.
Yeah.
I think it's, it could, again, go multiple different ways, but we won't
get to the predictions just yet, so I want to see if Coach has any notes left. But go ahead, Nick.
No, that's all I had.
Cody?
But any other Nuggets, Coach, that we're missing that we have not mentioned yet?
Yeah, I know these guys, they don't like talking about the goalies like I do. I'm leader of the goalie union, Coach, and I do believe in what you have between the pipes. But anything you have, Coach, that we kind of missed on?
No, I just want to mention for Nick, he's right about that, like he said. And I don't want to be sure everybody, I don't said he's going to be like Luke Shine. He's just like a similar like Luke Shine. Yeah. Luke Shine was a first round pick, so it's not like you have to be
kind of what his role carved out into.
I see Jack Guy more Zadorov type because of the personality about him.
Coach mentioned this. That's a good look.
Yeah, because he wants Shen is definitely like a good type of defenseman to strive to be. Shen was a pretty good top pair defense for in Toronto when he was there for that deadline run. But with Jack Guy's personality and that kind of fire that he plays with, I don't like taming that out of a player. I just I see way more like Nikita Zadorov in him. Where he's just more of when he's on the team, there's going to be you're not going to mess with Montreal if he's on the ice.
Well, when did Zadorov play his best, Cody? In Calgary with Eric Goodbranson on the bottom pairing.
According to you, it was Vancouver. So,
that bottom pairing for Calgary was really good that year.
That's why
I was shocked.
The playoffs, I want to say, or right around there.
Yeah, there was a lot of hesitancy there, but with Giordano leaving, they really stepped it up.
But anything else, anything else, Coach?
Coach, before we do get to our predictions, any other points? Any other notes?
I just want to mention one thing here before that. We never talk about Adam Ekstrom. He's another player was the defenseman. We really, for me, I follow him for the last 3 years. This is going to be better at Jadon Swabble right away. The next 2-3 months, he's going to be in front of Jadon Swabble. As the players have an asset for the Montreal Canadiens to be maybe on the deal for someone. But Adam Ekstrom is someone. The problem is another left defenseman. But at the end of the day, Adam Ekstrom showed a lot of consistency last year, was maybe the best defenseman with the Laval Rocket. And I think it's another player we have to consider. The T-core for the Montreal Canadiens and the next 2-3 years are going to be solid with the Montreal. Question is, we're going to see if they keep Mike Madison or not for the upcoming after his final year contract for the Montreal. That's one we have to follow up for sure. But Adam Ekstrom, maybe because you guys are not, deep with the Montreal, pay attention to his name because this is a really good left defenseman. And I know you're going to say, come on, Coach. But I want to be sure that you understand my point of view. Ekstrom, he is really good. He reminds me a lot of Brett Kulak for the Edmonton Oilers, that type of player, right?
For
the T-core. Then, Nick, I know you're going to show me. I know it's said that way, but he had the potential, and he could be another fourth sling in NHL.
Yeah, I heard you say.
That said, he's not there yet. But when you talk about a prospect, you have the floor and you have the ceiling. And I don't know the ceiling of him, but the way he play, if he can't, first thing, guys, if you watch him today, I see him with the Chicago, I see him with the American Hockey, I see him. That guy, he figure out something like he find a magic pill, and then he become a really good defenseman. If Angstrom
that magic pill was Paul Maurice.
you know, he's 6'2" Angstrom, a good skater, a good attention. He's really smart, a very good hockey IQ. He need to improve his physicality, but first thing, he's not the biggest physicality defenseman, but he's very smart. He know to deal. He know to go on the 1-versus-1. He know to defend. Jacob Slavin is another one, and I said he's going to be like Slavin. But if Angstrom can find those tools on his toolbox, you guys, you're going to remember Adam Ekstrom, and that would move the Montreal Canadiens, of course, on the decor.
That we're looking for.
I know that direction because the people talk in the chat. So
we're looking for a Coach W there, guys, and we'll pay attention to the chat there. Cody, do we want to predictions?
Hey, listen, we love to hear about these projects because for years as Panther fans, that's all we cared about. And Coach, I can tell you,
but Montreal is winning 40 games.
At least their prospects hit. Ours never do.
They can have their cake.
You could do it one or two ways. You could do it in Montreal, or you could just fucking trade for anybody you want.
Listen, they had 3-4 prospects hit for them in 2 to 3 years. We had 3-4 prospects hit for us in what?
15
to 20?
Yeah.
I told you guys when we first started our community, Coach, we
traded one of them.
3 years ago. I said, guys, I'm listening to TSN, I'm listening to stuff. You guys might not want to care about this, but you're going to care in 3 years. The Montreal Canadiens, especially their D prospect pool, is A++++. And we're starting to see it now. And another name that Coach mentioned.
But continuing here, let's start with Kirby, Nick, Coach, and then I'll go last here.
Okay, you want me to go?
The predictions?
You want me to go first? Okay, Coach is going to like this. This is the highest I've ever been on the Montreal Canadiens, maybe in my life.
It might be the thing that makes the downturn go like that.
Don't blame me.
Might be the reason. So if anything goes wrong this year, you know who to blame.
Don't blame me. So we just had on Rod Pedersen here, Coach, and I predicted I was lower than everyone else. Tampa Bay Lightning as the first wild card. Well, my third place team in the Atlantic Division is going to be the Montreal Canadiens. I believe what they're doing in net. I think what you said earlier, Nick, and Samuel Montembeault doesn't need to play 60 this year. Give Dobosh another extra 5 to 8 games. Think they'll be just fine. They got a goalie in the waiting and Fowler maybe later this season, probably likely next season with Reinbacher coming in. So you have those two guys to look forward to. The defense of the Montreal Canadiens, like Cody said, yes, Caden Gooley needs to stay healthy, but I am the biggest Noah Dobson fan. I wanted him in Florida. He's going to win you games on nights when your team is sleepy, and he's going to pot 2 goals for you or a goal and assist and win the game for you in overtime. Great 3-on-3 player, and he's out of the island. He is going to go to Montreal where they're going to let him play his game. Fans aren't going to get on him. Montreal fans love his style of playing game. Cody, yes, add some things defensively. I'm not worried about that. We can talk about the Hudson sophomore slump, but I think he'll be just fine this year. I think other guys will struggle a little bit more than him. He's still going to be a big dynamic player on the power play. Coach, I think the problem with Montreal will be on the special teams on the PK. But if they're running a top 5, top 8 power play, you don't need a top 10 penalty kill, especially in the regular season. You can be somewhere in the middle, maybe even towards 18th or 20th. But you got to figure it out as the season goes along. And Cody, good points on they got to be heavier team 5-on-5 and got to be able to find those type of players. But this is a team in Montreal, Coach. I know you have the numbers. Their top 6 scored more than the Panthers' top 6 last year. And I know the Panthers' top 6 had injuries and different things like that. But if this team can kind of cap out at where they were last year and maybe even have a little extra push there with a guy like Zachary Bolduc coming in, he's going to score big-time goals in that bumper position. He'll be like more of a poor man's Sam Reinhart for us with a little bit of extra jam. And I'm big on Suzuki. Give him individual awards this year. He's going to be up for the Selke, and he's looking to entrench himself in Team Canada for the Olympics. So he's going to come out, and he could be one of the best players in the first 20, 30 games of the season. That's going to add a big jolt to the Canadiens. I think early it's going to be key for them, but I think this is a team that could be anywhere from first to third early on in the season. And I think they're going to fall somewhere in that third position. And if I'm a Montreal fan, I'm very confident with that. So Montreal third in the Atlantic.
Next up, Nick.
Well, the season starts tomorrow. That's how long that took. No, I'm joking. I I think they're going to be wild card one, mainly because, I just think the top three teams are set. Now, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they finish top three. I mentioned Tampa was going to finish 2. I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa drops out. I think that's a possibility. For right now, I think they're wild card one. I do think they're going to be, quite good. They might struggle a little bit out of the gate, but again, I think nobody out of the Metro's making it. Nobody other than I think Ottawa and Montreal in the Atlantic are gonna be a threat at all. I mean, Detroit's a joke. I won't even go that route tonight. But I think Montreal is going to be the number one wild card team. Could very well finish in the top 3. And yeah, I just think, what they did last year was very impressive. I think Sam Montembeault, 62 starts in today's NHL. I don't think people realize how impressive that is. And he's always been good. I mean, they have not helped him. They have not always helped him out with the team they put in front of him. And I've always been impressed with him. I liked him in Florida when they claimed him off waivers. He's had some really nice seasons for them there, despite being put in a tough situation. And I think him and Jakob Dobas, that's another guy behind. But, I think the combination of a weaker Atlantic Division up top, they're primed for a wild card spot at worst, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens.
Coach?
Cody, where do you put Montreal?
I'll just say this. I'm the lowest on them. I have them 5th in the Atlantic. And it's mainly because I don't like they kind of got rid of every two-way forward they kind of had. And I think they're going to struggle a bit forward-wise, 5-on-5 defensively. And I think that's something that's going to be really big for him. And once again, with Hudson going into a second year, I'm a believer in the sophomore slump. That's just how it is with me. Like you saw it with Bedard last year. And with Hudson, it's just I wonder with the Dobson fit. I think Hudson should still get his PP1 reps. I'd be surprised if he didn't. And then Dobson on power play 2. And then it's just the middle 2 forwards. I'm not really that – Kirby Dach is a very big question mark, especially with the health concerns. I'm not very high on Alex Newhook. I like Jake Evans as your 4C. That's a damn good 4C. It's just I think Ottawa's built better down the middle to me, especially with the Dylan Cousins addition and with Shane Pinto and guys like that. And
what the heck? You're giving Shane Pinto credit here? Okay.
I mean, yeah, as a two-way forward, not an Olympic team guy for the USA like you were putting him up to be. And the thing is with the playoffs every year, there are always 2 teams that make it the year before that miss the next year. There's always 2. Last year, Boston was out, Rangers were out. In the West, Vancouver was out, Nashville was out. And 2 teams came in for them. And to me, it's it's between Montreal, Ottawa, Washington, and New Jersey a bit, because I do think the Rangers are back in this year with the addition of Mike Sullivan as the head coach. It's just so tough because with these rebuilds, it's like Montreal's just gone slowly this the last couple years. And usually with a rebuild like that, there's a speed bump somewhere along the way. And I think this year is it for Montreal a bit. It's just
so 5th in the division. Where do you have them? Playoffs or not?
First one's out.
So 9th and 9th.
Look, for these predictions this year, it's going
to be fun to track. This team is going to be fun to track with our post-game show because we're all over the map on this one.
It's just there's going to be a speed bump somewhere. I just don't know where.
I don't like Nick said a lock. I see a world that you're 15-20% right. I don't see it a lock that they're in. But it has to be Hudson.
I don't think they're a lock by any stretch of the imagination.
It has to be Hudson regressing. It has to be what you say about the 200-foot game. It has to be the penalty kill, the goaltending, which you're not buying, which I don't agree with. I get what you're saying with Kirby Dach, but they're going to make adjustments on 1 or 2 spots on the roster. They will.
Yeah, they will. But is it going to be? Is it or are they going to make it quick enough? That's the question.
They've got the cap and different things. Yeah, and you got to have progression from the younger guys. So out of the playoffs, Cody, 9?
Yeah, it's really tough because I could definitely see him in. I could see him third, honestly. I could see it. The projection just keeps going up. It's just the two-team thing. If someone's going to make it, and someone's got to be off the Rangers to be in. It could be the Devils for all I know. But
Cody had Washington last year, the Rangers this year, Coach. But anything else, Cody?
Not a great point you bring on the table, and I'm going to give you some information a little bit different for what you said, and then I can maybe make a judgment about what I see in Montreal Canadiens. First of all, Montreal Canadiens, the goal differential was negative. It's rare a team make the playoff. Last year, Montreal and the Minnesota did it. And when I look about the Eastern Conference, it's rare. You have 5 teams, 1 division, and only 3 total divisions.
Yeah.
Usually it's 4 and 4. That's another factor about that. Then the Montreal Canadiens are 5-on-5. They was not very good. They have to improve that department of the category to get better, to make the playoff, returning playoff. And be honest with you guys, at the end of the day, Montreal make 91 points. Usually it take 93 a plus to make the playoff. And the Western Conference, it was 96. Montreal will not be in the playoff. So it's not to looking about the playoff or they make it, did not make it last year is my biggest concern or my looking for. So I want to go on the goal differential. And I look about the goal for. It take at least 250 goals to make the playoff. If you score 250 goals on the Eastern Conference, you're 90% chance to make the playoff. Montreal scored 245. They have only one team lower at them is the Minnesota Wild on the Western Conference at 230 something. Well, I think 222, by the way. It was 228. I apologize. Then Ottawa scored at 243, I believe. They are the 2 team make the playoff under 250. On the flip side, on the goal against, the number magic is 233. If you give more goal at 233, the chance to make the playoff a little bit less. If you score less, you give less of 233, the chance to make the playoff is 90% too. That's Montreal gave last year 265. That's approximately almost 30 goal differential the Montreal have to drop to return to the playoff. That said, they are on the same boat like Detroit. They are the same boat like the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers. They are the 3 teams on the same boat. What about Buffalo, the Boston, and then the Flyers of Pittsburgh? They are all over 280 goals against. That would be hard for them to drop 50 goals to have a better chance. So they are out of them. Florida Panthers, Toronto, and Tampa are all above the number I just mentioned to you. 3 teams right there in the Atlantic Division. Ottawa, it's for me on the paper are a little bit better for Montreal Canadiens, so I give them that spot over Montreal right now. On the flip side, Carolina, their number is great. The Washington, the number is great. And then the Devils is supposed to be good. So you have a fight right now with one spot, in my opinion, is going to be between Columbus, Rangers, Montreal, and Detroit. That's my prediction for upcoming. I still believe Montreal could surprise and make the playoff. Like Nick will make them, I think, wildcard spot number 1. I just give them a wildcard spot for the Montreal game for upcoming season. But the number I gave to you guys, check about this at the end of the year. I will look about the season 24-25. That give you exactly what I'm talking about. And the number I'm talking is what the reason the team make the NHL playoff. But that's what my prediction for the Montreal. Make the playoff, but you have to improve your goal for. You cannot make the playoff. I guarantee you to make the playoff. And if you finish with a goal differential and the minus, they have to be an average at least plus 18 to 25 to be sure they are the playoff. But they have the offense this year. They have Budzik, they have Demidov, and they have Underding. One thing we're going to say to you guys, I didn't mention early, the transition of the game of the Montreal Canadiens from the defensemen, right now, they are the top 5. You have Madison, Lennartson, Noah Thompson can carry on the puck right away there. Like, it's rare you have 3 players on each with the same team can move the puck like they are the Montreal Canadiens on that. That will Martin will find a way to put the system together to use that game, that system for the Montreal transition from the rush play. That will help in the Montreal Canadiens so good, where the Montreal going to score 270 goals and maybe plus next season. But I put them in the playoff. That's maybe a long answer for you and for your question.
Hey, no, that by coach there, that's pretty good. Like maybe wild card 2, coach, you're leaning because Nick a little bit more confident with that prediction. But Cody, what you're saying in their deficiencies and what you say in their game, what coach said with them transitioning the puck, that can mask some of the.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I think New Jersey falls out. I'll say that, or Washington. I think
New Jersey and Washington are more volatile than Montreal, but that's.
I agree with that, Coach. I think Detroit is not even. They're not even in the rearview mirror. They're freaking on. We're on I-75. They're on I-4. It's not even the same freaking highway. All right. Detroit's.
Nick wants Yzerman out.
Yeah. Yzerman out. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I think Ottawa.
Ottawa's hard to. Okay, I just want to jump in, Nick. I think Ottawa has a better chance to win the division as a sleeper team than Montreal does. Let's be straight.
Yes.
But I think Montreal can still finish ahead of Ottawa in the division.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's going to be interesting to see.
Mark? I don't completely.
Yeah, I think.
In regular season, I do.
When you take a look at.
Once the playoffs turn.
I want to talk about games with Gooley.
I think wild card 1 would be my prediction because I think the Rangers jump back up into the top 3. Yeah, I think the Rangers.
Sullivan is the biggest addition.
I think Igor bounces back a bit. Not that he was terrible last year.
That blue line.
I think a new year was needed, a new voice in the locker room. Again, in 3 years, they're going to need another new voice in the locker room. That's just the way things are.
Oh, if they had someone like Barkov or do a big
they have a new captain now, JT Miller. I guess they're allergic to making their tenured players captain.
I think that's
trash is someone else's treasure, but hey.
But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see. And on Columbus, I'm not as bullish on them. I think. You might see some regression there, especially if they can't get that goal. I know Jack Greaves was really good down the stretch for them. Can he continue that? If he can't, I don't trust Elvis Merzlikins to.
Coach talked about the goal differential, Nick, with Montreal. That could be a problem with Columbus.
Yeah, and I think. I don't even know who Columbus added over the offseason. Did they add anybody? I know they were in on Noah Dobson.
Miles Wood.
Okay, yeah.
Miles Wood.
I mean, look, they were in on Noah Dobson. They just struck out on him. And I just don't think that Columbus.
But Montreal is winning on the free agent market. They're winning on the trade market. They're winning.
Not on the free agent market. Let's calm it down here. They wanted the trade market, not free agents.
Yeah, I think.
No, there's guys that want to play there.
I think one of the X factors for Montreal, and you're going to see it down the stretch, is the puck movement from the defense. But you have 3 really good puck movers. I mean, you're going to need that. And I think they have opportunity. They have room. They have capability to make a move.
I think that's the thing that coach said, masking their deficiencies versus what Cody's worried about. That's what's going to be the determining factor.
Yeah, but I think their deficiencies can be rectified through additions. I don't think I'd rather have
giving Florida the flowers, giving Tampa the flowers. I'm kind of let's slow down.
I think I'd rather have their.
You want me to slow down?
The general public, that's just Florida and Tampa. Last year, Florida was going to lose in the first round of the playoffs from the pundits.
They don't know what they're talking about.
We're not going to be
because people live in the freaking moment when it comes.
We're not going to roll the regular season in this.
I'd rather have Montreal's deficiencies than, let's say, deficiencies of a little bit more high-end talent, puck moving ability. I think some of those, the penalty killing, can be addressed through personnel change. And I think you can get a penalty killer at the deadline. You can pick up a physical defenseman at the deadline.
How about Nick? How about staying disciplined and don't take penalties, and then you don't have to worry about it?
Right. Yeah. I think the talent that they have, it doesn't compare to Detroit and Columbus right now, and New Jersey, fine, but even Washington. like Washington, I like their blue line, but it just seems like last year everything went right. I don't know if that's going to continue.
And I get what Cody's saying with the lack of 200-foot players, but put Suzuki against New Jersey, I'll take that.
Yeah, but the thing is with Montreal is just, I feel like you got like they have a ton of talent, but they have a lot of that talent is not developed talent. Like they're extremely young.
Slavkovsky developed on the scene last year, and people were like, well,
and they bring up a good point here about the points for the defensemen. Most of the time, when you take a look, top 5, top 10 point getters by a blue line for a team, majority of those teams are in the playoffs. One of the reasons we were so successful in the playoffs.
Oh, we lost Nick.
we lost Nick.
Kirby, just eject Nick out.
So I'll just leave it at that.
He's out.
Like,
But jump in, Coach Cody, on the chat.
like it's just with it's just like I said, I think like Montreal's gonna be a damn good team in like 2 to 3 years. It's just there's gonna be a hiccup somewhere, and I'm predicting it to be this year. And it's not really a bad thing because guess what? They made the playoffs the year before. They're way ahead of schedule, and that's the best thing. If they, let's say they had like show out the gate or whatever, they don't have to panic or anything to kind of like go make a move because Buffalo's panicking like hell right now because
Am I back?
Yes, they're trying not to
Okay.
rebuild now. Detroit is like Eiserman could lose his job this year if this year doesn't go right for
Yeah,
Detroit.
Coach, I'm with Nick. You're a little higher on Detroit.
Detroit is so bad. Come on. They're so bad. It's a joke.
But the thing is with Dobson is going into this year, and I know he's going to a more offensive system, but he went 49 points, 70 points, 39. So we have yet to kind of see who Noah Dobson really is.
He was in jail on the island. In jail.
Apparently not. When he had 79 points on the
Obvious
damn team.
mindset Montreal. The Islander fans would argue, Cody, this guy is too offensive. This guy isn't defensive. They didn't like him, and they would argue. Montreal fans will be like, Coach, you can jump in on this. Just be yourself. That's empowering. We saw that with Brandon Montour. That's empowering. Be yourself out there. Buffalo didn't let players be themselves. Coach, I think Dobson will be told by St. Louis coaching staff, be yourself.
That's a great point here. I think I think Cody, what you mentioned is not wrong. I just said I think you just see Montreal 3 years from today. But I would give you one advice: see them 3 years ago, the next 3 years, like they are today, because they are really closer at what you see them. You project them in 3 years. They are a little bit more closer today they were at 3 years from today. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I think they get missing only a couple of pieces of the puzzle. When you have a good, not a great, a good goaltender, the core of the D is good, and you have a lot of good top 6. And Montreal Canadiens, they have a really one of the top 8, at least bottom 6 in the NHL. That's something we don't give enough credit for the Montreal Canadiens. That said, Cody, is Montreal Canadiens, they don't have a lot of old second center and maybe one defenseman at some point. But if you look about Columbus, the goaltending is a really questionable there.
Oh yeah,
You go team by team, you're going to find a very big Washington, they're going to regress. The key for Washington is to go from 111, I believe. If they can send 99, they make the playoff. I see that team can regress, but I don't see Washington last 20 points to be out of the playoff. I don't see that at all. New Jersey, for me, is really the one you have to be careful. It's New Jersey. But still, they're missing a couple of pieces of the puzzle to make not make the playoff, but they go deep in the playoff. The Canada is going to get there. The Toronto, without Marner, whatever happening there, they're going to make the playoff. The Panthers, without Kachuk for a couple of months, they're going to make up. For me, the Tampa Bay Lightning is my number 1 team in the division, Atlantic Division, to win the division. Why? If you look about how they finish, at the traded line, they add Gores and they add a Buckstrand. I could be wrong, but that's what I can remember the most. They finished number 4 and the first in Atlantic Zone with the most points from January 1st to the end of April. If they can get that kind of consider what they build, I think that Tampa Bay Lightning are going to repeat and to finish in front of the Toronto and the Florida. Florida, they don't care. They can finish third, fourth, fifth. It's no big deal. They make the playoff. That's their season start at the playoff. It's another team. So I don't really care. Detroit is the defenseman. Buffalo, the defenseman. Two core, they have to be careful about them. The Columbus, the goaltender. The Rangers, can Mike Sullivan transform that locker room? I still don't understand the trade of the trade of Miller. Kavrikov is good, but I think Miller is better. I think Panarin had to come back. Final year contract. Zibanejad was so bad last year in Lafreniere. That team was go nowhere. How they going to bounce back whatsoever? The key is the goaltending. So at the end of the day, I still believe Montreal is going to get there. They're going to make the playoff because they have other question mark for other team in the division of the Eastern Conference to make the playoff. Islanders, great, but not good enough to make the playoff because
not good enough. The roster is not good enough.
Yeah. So this is my prediction for the Atlantic division.
We've been going for almost 2 hours here.
But for me, going into the Eastern Conference, there are 4 locks in the Eastern Conference to me. Tampa, Florida, Toronto, Carolina. After that, I have no locks.
Okay, that's fair.
Because Carolina, the Metro's too easy for Carolina, especially with the Ehlers edition. That's going to help in the regular season with more points.
Yeah, they're finishing somewhere in the top 3.
They're first. I don't see a world.
I'm not as high on them.
I cannot wait for them to get overrated to no end throughout the season.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
I would love to see. Hey, coach, I'd love to see a Carolina versus Montreal first round. Go at them. I love that.
Because here's the thing: we hate Carolina
Montreal
over
played
here.
really well against Florida last year, Cody, and we play this similar.
It wasn't even close. That's a joke of an Eastern
score.
Conference final appearance.
No, but we can't. Here's the thing: Carolina's my most hated team by far. I hate them.
Would you love to see a Montreal versus Carolina? You could see an upset there.
I would love to see any playoff series. To be honest with you, that isn't
Ottawa, Carolina.
Why not? I wouldn't mind seeing Montreal, Toronto. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I'm going to get into Toronto next week, but me having Montreal third, it's a distinct possibility, coach. You could Toronto-Montreal matchup right there.
If I'm tiering the teams right now, it's the locks: Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Carolina. The locks. In between that, I have should make it, which is probably I think Washington should make it. They're gonna fall off a bit.
A lot smaller. You've only talked.
If they make it, it's because the Metro is so weak, or teams I think they're better than Ottawa. I think they're better. Obviously.
I'm just gonna jump in. I think, and you guys know, I call New Jersey the frauds of the NHL. I think they should be in the should make it category.
They're in it. They're in it for me
because of Markstrom and Sheldon Keefe. Everyone craps on Sheldon Keefe, but he is a really solid.
The final point for me. Very well Ottawa could drop out, and not because Ottawa's a bad team, but just because Washington. I don't know about
that
New
with
Jersey.
Allmark missing time. Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So I mean,
but
Maryland.
I don't know.
Maryland did very well for them. Anton Forsberg went to LA. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Cody's not going to like my predictions because I'm not having really teams drop out here.
Yeah, I got here's the thing. I'm going based off what I've seen. It's 2 teams always out that make it the year before.
Yeah, but always show me always.
All right, you want me to keep going back?
Yeah, I want you to before we go.
Boston Rangers for the East, Vancouver, Nashville for the West.
Yes, this was last year.
Okay, 23-24. I have to think because here's the thing. I have to go each for.
Oh, you said was
Florida, Tampa, Toronto, Boston, Carolina Islanders. That's one team that was out. And then who the hell did the Rangers play? The Rangers played the Capitals.
I'm going to have one, Nick, coach. I might have one out of the East that was
and then
one in. I have to figure out.
Jersey was out. Who did Carolina play?
I'd have to figure out.
Carolina played the Islanders.
I actually might not.
It was just one because the Islanders were the only team that. Wait, was it? Yeah, the Islanders were the only team that made it that year. And then the West, I know the Wild fell out. Or did they? I don't even remember.
Cody's got to check.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
Hey, listen,
we got to
Kirby, take it away.
says the two guys with the 15-minute monologues of just Nick saying, "Take a look" every other
Take a
3
look.
words.
Yeah.
You didn't have the stuff. Apologies, Coach. Coach, thank you for being on here with us today. We would love to have you back during the season. Where can everyone follow you? I recommend everyone go over to your YouTube channel. You're live almost every night of the week, Coach, even during the off season.
First of all, thanks for inviting me. Secondly, Hockey Nation Live show is my channel since 2020. We're getting close to 10K. It takes a long time, but at the end of the day, I think it's difficult to stay alive and the wall of the YouTube channel. But I think for us, it's about the community we build with a lot of great people. Look at tonight. We have about 7, 8, 10 people join me, follow me here tonight. That's who they are. They are great people, and it's all about what we build here at the Hockey Nation. But definitely, I would love to come back and have a great conversation. And this is all about is debate with the respect and the different opinion. That's make a better a show. And that's the reason I think it's you have a space, you have a room for everyone. It's just to build your own place and to be who you want to be. Don't try to be anybody else. Just be who you are if you want to be successful on your YouTube channel. And that's the only thing I think, and that's the reason I believe that's our channel is good, because we have a lot of great people. And I'm the driver, but without those passengers, it would not be impossible. So I just want to thank of them. I'm very gratefully thankful of them. And then for all of you guys tonight, it was a pleasure to meet all of you for the first time. Hopefully it's not going to be the last time. I can't wait to come back and talking about the hockey. It's not matter you're a Panthers fan or Canada fans or Washington fans or Tampa fans. It's all about we love one thing all in common. We love the game, and we have a passion about the game. That's the best thing to do. And I can't wait to come back here talking about hockey.
And guys, I appreciate Coach all the time. Very good motivational speaker. You can see his coach background, and he always kind of encourages that community and builds it like what we've done here, guys.
Yeah.
I can't imagine those locker room speeches after like a bad period.
You're welcome to join me anytime, by the way, Cody or Nick or Kirby. You're welcome. We open the door. It's just like it's fun talking about our kids. And for me tonight, my learning lesson is going to be to hear from people. Don't follow too much the Montreal Canadiens for the eyes for outside the Montreal Canadiens fans. That's good to hear that. And it's fun. You pay attention for the Montreal Canadiens. I think the Montreal, like Chicago, San Jose, Anaheim, are going to be a team to look for the next 3-4 years with all the prospect pipeline. They're great, and they are going to be fun to watch. And hopefully, Panthers, Tampa are going to continue. Put the money on Tampa this year, so Tampa have to respond with my Atlantic Division. Kobe, you have to be sure your players step up this year because I really believe on Tampa this year.
Hey, listen, I could see them winning the division, but once we see them in the playoffs, that's when.
And special shout out to all the people that came over from Coach's channel, Pete Martin, Triple W, Nas, yeah, and many others. I throughout the course of the show, we thank you not only for coming in but for commenting. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, if our community grows like that, what Coach has been doing, hey, we're ahead of the game. So appreciate them being by, and they got to be by Saturday nights this year. Cats and Rats After Dark. We go around the NHL. It's not Panthers talk, all NHL stuff. So join us.
One more thing, we are live every night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We work 7 days per week. The channel is on, so you're welcome to come back every time. I want to thank all the people in the chat, new people I never heard before, and for you channel and my people. So glad to see all of you. Thanks everybody to invite me, and anything I can help, please don't hesitate to reach me at any time. It was great to meet you, Nick and Cody, and then Kirby. It was great to work again with you. Kirby was amazing last week at the Hockey Nation.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Coach, it was
a good night.
Honor. Yes,
Have
sir.
a good night.
Appreciate it.
Coach. All right, gentlemen. Our first one ever on YouTube here.
Who we have on the docket next week? It's Toronto and
Boston.
Now Toronto and Boston. Maddie from the Bruins, Bender, and then our boy Zach Phillips from Leafs Nation is the scheduled. Yes.
Boy. Oh man.
I got a big guest on Ottawa, Cody. That worked with TSN for a long time too. So
Hey. Listen, because Ottawa, because we have what after that we have Buffalo and then
Detroit's in there, and then we might have Ottawa as a stand.
we have that in one episode.
Well, we might have to have Ottawa on their own. I was thinking.
So but we have Detroit and Buffalo in the same episode.
Don't be so hard, Cody, on them. Tonight it was not too bad, but
just gonna have this ready.
Cody, do you want them to walk off the set?
I mean,
Can I walk off the set right now?
Cody, you are harsh. You are hard. Like the Montreal stuff tonight. Let's be easy on Buffalo and Detroit, guys. Nick,
No.
Detroit.
You don't get to build shitty hockey teams and get away with it.
No, Lou's gonna handle it. The Buffalo person, I think I have someone scheduled. I don't know the Buffalo person, so Cody, don't run the Buffalo.
I'm just gonna say this:
content person.
you better warn that Detroit, whoever we get for Detroit, you better
It's
warn
Lou.
him.
He's a good guy.
Oh, okay. Well, as long
we
as he
had him
knows.
last year. Calm down with Lou, buddy.
As long
Lou's a
as
really nice guy.
He's Lou, not Iserman.
But Cody, easy on Buffalo because I don't know who's coming on for Buffalo.
I'm not Vince though. If Vince would be on Buffalo, I just feel bad for him.
I think
like-
you were hard. I think you were hard on Montreal tonight, to be honest.
How was I? Well, because everyone up was like, think it's like sunshine and rainbows and stuff like that.
I think their fan base is very measured right now. It's just surprising.
It's
you know what happens
when they're
But I-
in
but
the
here's
conference, they think they have a shot at the playoffs.
I don't think anything phases them anymore.
Here's
It's
the
kind of
thing.
like being
Their fan base may be measured, but I remember what they were saying about Pacioretty and Subban all them years ago. I remember those.
Oh, you're
tweets.
going back then. I remember what they said about Connor Bedard a few years ago with us giving them to them. But, you know,
Like no.
Yeah, it didn't work out that way, didn't it?
I'm talking about when they were good.
yeah. Okay. Cody's going back.
With
This is the
turtleneck.
highest I've ever been on Montreal, and maybe the lowest I've been on Tampa. But like Rod Pedersen mentioned, he had them out of the playoffs last year. I don't have them out. I have 5 teams going in Atlantic, and you'll see as we go along with these previews.
I may have 4. Like I don't know. Like,
I have a hard time finding 3 in the Metro. I'm having a
And-
hard time, gentlemen. Can there
Like,
just be 2?
but going back to and like on my point earlier, going back to 2022, in each conference there have been at least there's at least been one team that made it the year before that missed the year in the East, but there has been 2 in the West every year.
So there's been 1 in the East, so I can go with 1 then.
Like because it was only 1 year because the President's Trophy year for the President's Trophy year for the Panthers. The next year, the 2 teams that fell out were Washington and Pittsburgh. And in the West, going in from 22 to 23, the 2 teams that fell out of them was Calgary and Minnesota. No, Minnesota made in 23. It was St. Louis. Calgary and St. Louis that fell out. And Calgary was a division winner.
So Ottawa might fall out.
I could definitely see that.
I think Ottawa
But
does fall
you
out.
can stick with 2, Cody, but
And then
We'll see.
Then the year after, it was the Islanders that fell out, and then New Jersey fell out. And then
you're giving me a lot of teams from the Metro.
and then it was Seattle that fell out, and then it was Minnesota that fell out.
Yeah, Minnesota, the one you always bat. Minnesota, they're in 1 year, out 1 year, in 1 year, out 1 year.
Well, they made the 2 years in a row, and then
Okay.
last year we all know Boston was out, Rangers were out, and
The
then
Boston, no one saw that one.
Nashville was out, and then Vancouver was out. No one saw Nashville either. Everyone had some people had Nashville as locks. So yes,
That's true. But you're saying
So-
sometimes in the East there's 1 team that misses. Okay.
at least there was one year that was, and it was like the
You're just-
Islander.
Two
The
at me.
Islanders.
There's got to be 2. There's got to be 2.
For me, there's gonna be 2.
You're all about 2s. The sophomore slump, the 2s that miss.
Hey, sophomore
is-
slump's real.
You're not believing in some backup goalies, maybe even starters. But
Like, I'm just being honest.
yeah, I know.
Like, I could be 100% wrong, and I'll own it. But the thing
No,
is, like,
this is going to be fun to watch because all
This-
4 of us have a different take on Montreal.
this is my gut. Like, I gotta go with my gut.
I think we were more lock and step with Tampa. No one really had anything extreme there. No one had Tampa winning the division, right? So
Nope.
No, I could definitely see them winning,
yeah,
but
I'm not picking it. Yeah.
no, I have them second. I think
No.
if
We got
health,
to track these. We got to track.
if health permits,
You guys all, it was you, Rod, and Nick all went second.
yeah, and I think I have Florida first going into the year.
I'm still debating.
Well, I mean, we got to bake in what the Barkov 5-game
I'm
absence.
starting to feel a Montreal-Florida matchup already in the first round, gentlemen. And we're running through them, or they're stopping us in our three-peat. I'm just feeling it. I'm really feeling it. So, but yeah, guys, anything else on the way out? We're going to do a contest on the next podcast episode here when we do have it.
Yeah, I mean, Hockey's training camp starts up Thursday, I'm pretty sure, for most teams. I'm not sure about the Panthers. I have no idea what these dates are. I got to get my bearings back on hockey now.
Oh, do you?
It's really easy. It's really easy to find these bearings as of right now.
I was told I was too hard on the Dolphins in the summer, Nick.
Yeah, well, I was told we were a 10-win football team. I don't know where we're seeing that. But
Well, Ryan
anyway.
said that. I never said 10 wins.
No, I'm not saying you guys. I'm talking about Russell Wilson looked like he's
You
freaking
were
on
more
Seattle.
You were more at 9.
Russell Wilson looking like he's on Seattle again. Give me a fucking break. Anyway,
Shout out Malik Neighbors.
I mean, you know he's going deep, and he still gets behind you. I don't get whatever.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to our boy Caesar. He was live today. Make sure to drop Caesar a follow. I'll put that at the bottom here. And we got a lot of film to go over with Caesar and Ardell's count. So we'll be hitting the film room.
I don't want to watch that again. But good night, everybody.
You have to, Nick. You got to call someone else so he plays well.
I'm not gonna lie.
They all suck.
I think I'm done with film for the Dolphins.
What?
Because it's pretty freaking depressing already. The Patriots, I already know what I'm gonna see every time. Like, oh, we're gonna send everyone back or blitz all of them.
That's our guy Drake May right there, Kirby.
Drake May.
Drake May.
I got a community bet that he's top 17 or better quarterback, looking pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's such a low bar. 17?
Under. Yeah, 17.
Yeah, 17 would sound a lot better. I think would sound pretty good to a Dolphins fan right now. But anyway,
but our Cats and Rats Fantasy Football League is going very well. Shout out to our sponsors, Caneware. Shout out to our very own Nick Levine at the top of the league right now in football.
Everybody shit talked my team. Everybody.
I'm still going to. You're 2-0. It's too early to say anything.
Everybody shit
Keep the
talked it.
receipts, Nick. Keep the receipts.
I mean, even this, Kirby, the worst fantasy
I
team
didn't believe the team either,
Okay.
but
I'm like Ken Holland. You look at it, it's a little weird, but it works. So, you know what? It works.
Works. Yeah, well, it is so far. And shout out to Canes. We're at the top of the league. Maybe
you're
Jeremy Beckham, Beck sells FLA, can be at the top of the.
If I'm not
Fantasy
last,
hockey
it's a dub. If I'm not last, it's a W. You
Well,
guys had me worst.
Well, Ryan had you worst.
Well,
You're just the Minnesota Knicks over here.
okay, it helps me win.
We just need Nick to lock in all year on the fantasy football and fantasy hockey side.
Fantasy hockey is a little more difficult, but I will try my best.
Villain, I'm coming for you this week. Show up.
I think I got what, Big C's this week?
Yes, Cody. I think that's the matchup of the week. You guys are a rival. You and Caesar, you guys are a rival.
How are you rivals?
Yeah, you guys are a rival. Get you guys.
We
on
lose
the-
to the Bears.
What?
If we lose to the Bears, I'm so done.
Not Bears.
But anyway,
Hey,
have a good night, everybody.
shout out
Thank you
USF
again.
though.
Shout out USF.
The first FSU trash can of the year goes to USF Bulls. That team used everything. It had to beat
It
Florida.
was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted.
They should still be ranked if you ask me.
There you go.
But the FSU trash can.
It's all right. Miami will fall off at one point.
Oh yes,
They always do.
go Knowles.
I'm not saying that. Anyone, all the UU supporters out there, there you go.
It's Ohio State again, and if you disagree, you don't know ball.
I'm a company man.
Well, we got to bring this back. I'm bringing it back every week. It's just gonna be football for right now. Hockey not started yet, but anyway. But
Again,
And
everyone,
anyway-
like this video if you watched all the way through. Subscribe. Make sure to follow Big C's. He's trying to get to. What's he trying to get to, guys? There, 1K subscribers. So it's close.
Yeah, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our sponsors, Caneswear. Once again, they have the signings with Sergei Bobrovsky, Matthew Tkachuk, and Sam Bennett coming up soon. Go get your tickets now. They're on sale at caneswear.com. Please, once again, go check them out. And once again, our other sponsor, Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast. Hey, if you're looking to move to South Florida or even sell, I think that's a pretty good guy to go to. I think so, boys, right?
No.
Well, you got.
But because Nick's about to lose his mind right here because he has class in about 9 hours.
Mhm.
We sign off here. Thank you for joining us as always. And as always, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats.